Fuck you. Because he's the mayor.
I should let it roll, but I don't know if I want this episode to just start out the gate with "fuck you."
That's right.
What
Fuck you.
What if Sally Thimbleton is showing this podcast to her 9-year-old kid? All right, little Johnny,
You ready for some explicit material? Fuck you.
Pop quiz. Flynn Taggart is from what video game? Yeah, you don't know. See, when I put you on the spot, you don't know shit.
He's from
You don't know fucking shit about video
Fatal
games.
Fury.
What?
Streets of Rage.
Flynn Taggart is not from a video game at all. It's the character name given to the
his
Doom
name
guy
Flynn.
in the Doom novel.
His name is Flynn Flam. Flynn Flam.
Pop quiz. What video game do you fight Flan in?
Every game.
Oh my god.
He's a secret boss. Pop quiz. What game lets you play as Tofu?
Resident Evil 2?
No.
Yes.
You're wrong.
Bet money.
This is the.
Oh, I win.
Burger
I
Time.
do know more about
Burger
games
Time.
than you do.
It was Burger
you
Time.
are
Topher Burger.
unqualified to do a video game podcast.
Fuck you. Nobody likes you.
Everybody loves me.
Nobody likes you.
I'm the sexy knowledge guy, and
Really?
you're the dirty,
Dirty guy.
violent guy.
I'm the dirty, violent guy. That's
You know,
what I am.
When we're around episode 70 or 80, and we have like a billboard up somewhere, we have to figure out how we're gonna stand. Like, are we gonna stand like side by side?
We're gonna do back to back.
Is
with
it-
our arms crossed?
With our arms crossed.
That's my favorite.
Looking at the camera. Are we gonna do something? Are we gonna point our fingers at the camera and with like guns?
Or we can do like one of those ones where it's like dark and there's like a line down the middle and we're both like leaning forward with our heads tucked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And our faces are like darkened and we're like, shh. You know what I mean? Like face off kind of. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We gotta think of the slogan.
And then like as you drive by, the holograph changes into a kiss.
No. What is going to be the slogan on our billboard?
It'll be like, look at the goddamn road.
Yes. Yeah. We have an audio podcast. You don't need to be reading shit. Just listen. I know
What the
this is
fuck are you doing? Put your eyes back on the road.
eyes on the road, asshole. End of timecast.
And then they drive by the holograph and they make them look even more. We'd cause so many wrecks. They'd be fucking dead.
Like, quit looking. Quit trying to look. Quit trying to look. We're trying to catch us kissing.
Instead of trying to get people to listen to podcasts, we're trying to kill people that don't listen to podcasts. That's the purpose of the ads.
Oh, man. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the end of time. I'm Michael.
And I'm Adam.
We're so fucking happy to be here today. Yeah.
Man.
Woo!
Somebody did a little bit too much cocaine. Cocaine.
Any amount is too much.
Well, I'm just saying a little bit too much. Like,
Are you a worthy candidate of judgment when
I
it comes
am.
to the levels of cocaine?
I am.
How?
Because I do like Scarface amounts of cocaine.
What was that video we were watching? That crazy sort of overweight guy that does the show.
Crazy overweight guy that does a show. You just make me dig on these podcasts, man. You're like, yeah, let me put you on the fucking spot.
The guy that had the crazy conspiracy theories and shit.
Crazy conspiracy theories.
He
fat
went on
guy.
Joe Rogan's show and did this 10-minute spiel.
Oh, you're talking about fucking Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
You just Alex Jones did. I said, how do you qualify this cocaine's too much? And you were like, just because.
Just because.
That's how Alex Jones does it. Joe Rogan's like, where's your evidence for all this? Oh, that's just the way it is.
That's
just how it is.
That's how it is. That's how it is.
He's like, you just can't say shit like that. How do you know this? It's just how it is.
Yeah. It's fucking.
Oh, I would love
podcast is turning the frogs gay.
I would love
Just throwing it out there.
I will
It's
totally,
facts.
I will burn 10 minutes of this episode just playing that because that is.
That is fucking awesome.
If you ever want to hear a conspiracy theory that you will sit there and it'll have you like rubbing your chin going, you know, he's making points, and then suddenly it takes a left turn. You're like, wait,
left turn straight into Crazy Town, and you're like, oh no! And he's like, oh no, you're already buckled in. You got to listen to the rest.
When did vampire pedophiles get into this? What? Look up.
They made a deal with the devil. Now
Look
they're
up a
taking
guy
power.
named Alex Jones. I'm pretty sure he has his own.
Oh, I'm
podcast.
pretty sure anybody who's everybody knows who this motherfucker is.
Well, if you don't, you should look up anything and everything by Alex Jones. But the specific thing that we're talking about is a very small segment where he went on Joe Rogan's podcast, and Joe Rogan was like, "Give me this conspiracy theory you got going on." And Alex Jones was like, "Buckle in, bitch. I'm about to tell you what it's about."
He's about it. He's like, I'm cranking this up to 5,000.
Yes. He takes a deep breath and just goes for like 10 minutes, and it all actually kind of fits, and then he just goes off the rails.
And I mean,
and even Joe Rogan's like, dude,
he like every once in a while, every like 30 seconds of talking, he like goes, oh, okay, I can kind of see that. Or wait, you can't just fucking say that. You have to like back that up with like evidence and stuff.
Yeah. Check it out. It's definitely worth a good entertainment. Well, a good entertainment piece of, it's about 10 minutes long. It's not too bad, but it's definitely hilarious. Adam, you're on the spotlight again, sir. You got to start talking about what you did this week because the audience wants to know. They want
to know what I did? You want me to go first this week?
Yeah. Directly and said, what the fuck has Adam been doing? And I said, I don't know, man. He'll tell you.
They don't want to know what I've been doing.
Probably a whole lot of nothing.
Man, I got 3 kids and I beat them constantly. So that's, I mean, you know, it's 90% of my off time right there.
Adam's week. A week of child beating.
That's right.
You know, if you'd raise your kids better, you wouldn't.
You know, if you beat them real good, they stop moving and stop doing bad shit. That's the trick. You beat them just enough to where they stop moving, but not so much that they stop moving forever.
This is getting dark.
It is.
Besides child beating, did you do anything of work? Look, these weekend reviews are not pressure. If you didn't do anything, you can no. Not really.
I've been going more into Fallout 4, trying to go back there. I never did any of like the extra content to it. So I've been going back in there. To be totally honest with you, I'm so burnt out on these fucking long RPGs because I had so many like in a row.
Yeah.
Oh man, I go in, I play like a little bit of Witcher, and I'm like, and I play a little bit of Mass Effect Andromeda, and I'm like,
it's understandable with even if you only played Witcher 3. Witcher 3 is fucking daunting.
Yep.
If you stay on that bitch daily for the long run and just work, and I mean work, not just, I'm gonna go fuck around and go kill an animal or two and then go. I'm talking about if you work at the game and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it gets daunting.
Yep.
That's why when I beat it, I was like, not because I don't like this game, just because I'm done with it. I'm done with this. Woo!
See, I plan on going through both expansions.
Oh yeah.
So it's gonna be a wild ride.
You're gonna like that.
I gotta get that fire back in me to just sit down and pound this fucking game out right now. I'm just like, I'm still trying to go through Mass Effect. It's not that I hate it or anything. It's just, it's one more quest.
Yeah.
One more go here, kill this, grab that, take a shit, come back to the guy. Mm-hmm. Oh no, the guy turned evil. Oh no, the guy's happy. Oh no, what? It's just, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. The game has a lot of side quests. So I'm gonna put that out there, and they're all kind of the same.
Are they worth it?
The content is not. When the content's on its game, it's good.
Yeah.
When the content is not on its game, it's not good.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really hit or miss. That's what I'm going to say. That's probably going to be my final review for Mass Effect Andromeda, is very hit or miss. When it did stuff right, it did stuff great.
Mm-hmm.
When it did stuff bad, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that Bethesda has better games. or better storytelling, but when Mass Effect Andromeda decides that it's going to bottom out, it dip below. It dips below, Bethesda levels of fucking acceptability.
Yeah.
Where the game is like, Bethesda, you get the brand new game, a Bethesda game on launch, Fallout or Skyrim or whatever. And you launch that son of a bitch and the guy's head turns around backwards for no reason. That's a feature.
Yes.
Okay? That is a feature. Everybody's gonna fucking love it.
Yep.
And they're gonna be good memes about it fucking made the next day. Like, oh man, the giant knocks you 4,000 feet up in the air for no fucking reason.
Yep.
He does an overhead smash, smashes you into the ground, you bounce up off the ground, go into space.
Yep.
No, BioWare, you can't play that game.
Yep.
You can't have this shit happen. This is not your bag. This is not your realm of expertise.
It's so bad because this is an audio podcast, so the audience can't participate. But have you seen the Major League Baseball glitch from, I don't know when, like last year before?
No.
I think it's MLB The Game.
Oh God.
This is a Major League Baseball game.
Okay.
And they had it's nightmare fuel.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah.
What happens?
I'm trying to, the show is what it is. So for all those out there in the audience, whenever you're not driving, Google, Major League Baseball, the show glitch. The first bunch of images you see show you exactly what we're talking about. Viewer discretion advised. If you don't sleep, it's not our fault.
Oh God, Jesus.
Oh God.
Jesus.
Yes. Yeah, these are glitches in the game.
Wow.
Oh,
that is some straight up like beyond Dark Souls level scary shit right there. It looks like he's like, one of them looks like a nut that has come to life, and the other one looks like a burn victim or something.
Okay, so in the image that I have here of side by side, I've got one.
You have to post that on the Facebook page.
Yeah. I have one, and this is apparently back in 2015 if I saw that date right. But the one on the left is the hair, this big hair knot. And I've heard that hair actually stretches all the way across the field.
Wow.
It expands.
So it's like the Cthulhu of nuts.
Yes. And
it's like a living Cthulhu testicle.
Both of these you can see in motion. Yes. Like the eyes blink, the head looks around. Oh man. It's not good. These are the glitches that I don't know. I don't know if this was in Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh, it's nowhere near this. That looks like Jason Voorhees unmasked.
That's what it looks like when Jason takes it off. Look at that.
He's like, yeah, doesn't it? Doesn't it look like Jason Voorhees?
Oh. When he turns it sideways, it's, oh God. I'm sorry for anybody that now is. Maybe this will actually generate feedback. I just want y'all to know I looked at that shit. I couldn't sleep. Took a nap.
Oh God.
Horrible. But yeah, that's when these games go down in legacy, when they go down in history, that's what Andromeda's going to be known for.
Yeah, well, I get to feeling
Mass Effect 3 will be known for, man, they dropped the ball on the ending. Yep. Mass Effect Andromeda, you remember that glitchy shit?
Yeah, you remember my face is tired?
Doom 2016. Man, remember how they revamped Doom and made it awesome, and they brought Mick Gordon in and did that awesome soundtrack. Witcher 3. Oh man, the world got bigger. You got to use more spells. The story was great. Mm-hmm. Mass Effect Andromeda. Ha ha. You remember all them glitches? So bad.
Rip.
So sad.
Rip.
So sad.
And the thing is it's worse than that because of what happened to BioWare Montreal. You know?
Yeah.
This was BioWare Montreal's first attempt at making a game by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Making like a flagship title. And you know what EA did? EA said, we're back to a support studio. Yep. And they immediately fucking sent all these fucking people back in their holes.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I get it, you know? It was, something was fundamentally wrong for the game to get to that point in that way.
Yep.
Something was fundamentally wrong. Had to be.
Even though I'm anti-EA to a degree, I can understand the corporate side of what they did. They did their own damage control.
Yeah, well, what they did was they said, you know what? Mass Effect's going to be on hiatus, and we're going to make sure that these people get a lot more experience in a lot lower positions.
Yep. That one guy, I hope he loses sleep over this.
Really?
Yeah. The guy that was like, yeah, go ahead and ship it now. It's okay.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and ship it. No, he probably lost his job over this. I'm pretty sure they just quietly fired him. But then again, the guy who actually, I don't know if you actually followed any of this, like, oh man, it was a shit show. The guy who was like one of the lead guys on it, you'll probably have to Google it, but the lead designer was just a giant fucking racist.
Oh, wow.
Like, he really hated white people. What? It was like all over his Twitter.
Wow.
You know, and it was just like out of left field. Like, okay, well, man, you make video games. Everybody plays video games. Video games is like the one place where everybody just fucking chills the fuck out and has fun. No, not him.
Wow.
And there were rumors that, you know, his staff was kind of in that way, you know, like, and you start looking at like, it starts making you like double think when you're walking around. You're like, man, there sure are a whole lot of chicks with unnatural hair colors here.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
There sure are, you know, a lot of, you know, racial fucking plot lines in this game. More so than usual in a Mass Effect game.
Yeah, because usually those are there, but there shouldn't be an absurd amount of them.
You know? And you're like, oh, okay. You start double thinking, I don't want to do that while I'm playing a game.
Exactly.
You know, I just want to sit back and have fun with the game. And I'm like, I can't. To me, once that information came to light, and that was only just recently. You know, I've noticed this, and I was like, oh man, you know, I really don't want to.
Yeah.
I really don't want to have to think about Mass Effect that way every time I turn it on. And that was not the spirit. I think Mass Effect Andromeda really, its biggest failure was not capturing the essence of Mass Effect.
Exactly. I agree.
It dropped something.
Dropped that ball.
Something inside of it is just not, there's a fire that was there that is no longer there.
Yeah. Also, the aftermath of this Andromeda compared to something recent, the game that you've been harping about, the Friday the 13th game.
Yeah.
Have you heard about it? What happened recently?
What?
So, and I don't follow this game because I have little to no interest in it, just because of personal thing. I'm not interested.
That's because you hate good games. I
Sure,
gotcha.
whatever. But I may have no interest in the game, but I am interested in any game that gets a huge following and is a success. You know, as in people say they want this and they fund money to make it happen.
It was a Kickstarter game.
Yes. So apparently, and I gleaned all this from a fellow podcast. I'm not quoting this from news that I read, but apparently they were anticipating like a certain amount of 1,000 people, like 30, 40, some number like that. And 70 to 80,000 people bought the game. So their servers are,
Yeah.
Now the sucky part, this is going to be where a golden story comes from it. This is not a bad thing in a way, because so their demand is way more than their anticipation.
Yeah.
This game, it has a solo player part to it, a solo campaign.
Yeah.
But the solo campaign is actually coming later. So the game is only playable right now online. So the fact that their servers are going, is bad because people can't play the game. The devs, it's a 12-man team. And
Jeez.
they are devastated. I mean, they're on like everybody's Twitter, everybody's Facebook, everybody's comment. They're like, we are so sorry. We haven't had sleep in 2 days. Like we're barely eating. We're trying to work with this people and this company.
Trying to get this shit straight.
We are doing everything in our 12-man team power to make this happen. And we are so sorry that because we want this to be played.
Yeah.
We want you guys to have fun with this. And the fact that, you know, it's not being able to play right now. Now, on the bigger scope, sorry, and I didn't Patreon this or Kickstarter it, so I can't say shit. It may be they should have delayed this until they actually had the solo campaign.
I don't think they
because
knew.
the only way you can play it right now is online.
I think they were. Well, here's the thing: there was a lot of drama during the development of the game. Yeah, I saw.
You followed it.
I followed
way
it
more than me.
I followed it, but I didn't keep my finger on the pulse or anything.
Yeah.
I just check back every month or so. Like, oh, I remember Friday the 13th game is coming out. Let me check that and see what's going on with that. Well, I mean, people were getting on to the developers like, oh, this game ain't never coming out. You took everybody's money. Blah, 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 blah.
Here we go. Yeah.
And they would respond like, no, you know what the fuck you're talking about. We're getting the game out. It's coming out. Yeah. Here's the release date. And when they finally came out with the release date, they were kind of under the gun to make sure they hit that fucking release date.
Yeah.
But I don't think if you get, this happened to Infinity Ward on Modern Warfare 2. I don't remember do you remember that?
It happened on Diablo 3.
It happens on a lot of good games. It happened to WoW.
Happened to WoW, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This is not when something far exceeds expectations and they crash your servers.
Yep.
That you should always over-engineer your servers.
Yes.
That's the lesson I've learned out of all
You and I,
this.
as MMO players, we know, especially close to and around a patch or an expansion coming, you need to boost them numbers because people are coming.
Yeah.
And you don't want anybody, whether they're new people or especially the veterans, that this is their life, their second life. That shit needs to be working. And it's real hard for us paying people to go, okay, so you were expecting 70,000, you had 250. That's not my problem. Yeah. You should have anticipated 4 times what it's money and that's servers and that's
more. I mean, maybe they were expecting 70, they put in enough for 150, but they got 200.
Yeah.
And now their shit's like, man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can fault them to a degree. You can't fault them for, better than average success.
Yeah.
And far exceeding expectations.
And we're also, if we're strictly talking about where we are in this conversation right now we're talking about Square Enix and Blizzard. Okay.
Not a 12-man team.
They can afford to go, oh, here is a 7% of my stock in the company. Go build more servers. As opposed to 12 people going, man, we're trying.
12 people in like an apartment, like slapping some fucking cables together, trying to build a server.
Calling,
physically build a server
places.
They're like making a raid on Best Buy.
Yeah.
They're like, no, not the same thing, not even a little bit.
So it's always nice to, it sucks that game is kind of wonky right now, and I'm sure it's going to get ironed out eventually. But I'm always happy to see a company that says, guys, we got a great game. Here's what we've been doing. Thank you for donating money. Here's the game. Oh, it broke. We're fucking sorry, and we are working on it. As opposed to, here's the game. Oh, it didn't work. We got our money.
The beautiful thing about this is this was a game made by fans for the fans.
Mm-hmm.
They went really into this.
Mm-hmm.
They went really, really far into this
just
to get it, make sure it absolutely happened the way it needed to.
Yeah.
They took one of the original directors of the movies. They took Kane Hodder, the guy who was Jason in part 7, 8, 9, and 10. So Jason 7 through Jason in Space or whatever the fuck it was called.
Jason Universe.
Jason versus NASA.
Jason versus the Reapers. Bruh.
Oh, Jesus.
Now you think about that shit. Jason can't die.
Yep.
So the Reapers could try, but he would just come back.
They'd have to indoctrinate him.
The Jason is stalking just like he's just in a Reaper, just walking the hall. He's in me. Jason just goes randomly, just stabs random like holes in the. Oh God!
Oh God, no!
Has to send indoctrinated like people inside of a Reaper, and they just get killed. He's like, I sent like 6 people in there, and they're dead, and he keeps stabbing me.
Ow!
Kill this motherfucker!
Ow! He gets a hold of an Omni Blade.
oh, Jason Voorhees with an Omni Blade.
Jesus. Omni chainsaw.
You're a goddamn genius.
I am. Now we know the DLC.
Now we know what game you're gonna make at the end of this podcast.
Jason Voorhees got like a giant.
Make Friday the 13th in space for real. Make it good.
Well, because they had all these people, they did have a bunch of Kickstarter goals. I don't know how many they met, but
yeah,
they had one for the Jason in Space level.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was going to be a part of the game. I don't know if it's still going to be a part of the game, but it was definitely one of the goals they put on Kickstarter.
Yeah,
was to have, they've got, and the cool thing is, like when you spawn as Jason, you get to pick which Jason you want to be.
Mm.
So you can be like the part fucking 2 Jason with the bag over his head, and or you can be the the undead Jason, from whichever part. And they all have different skills and abilities.
Yeah.
Like some of them, their teleport goes faster. Some of them some of them can run, some of them can't.
Yeah.
Because undead Jason never ran at all. Mm-hmm. It was really cool. Really, really cool. And I'd been waiting for a game like this to come out where you were the murderer and you could just go around fucking people up.
I don't know. As an outside person that takes Friday the 13th for what it is, and it's not, the biggest thing out in Horrorville. Maybe it's because of the Friday the 13th motif. Maybe that's what it is. But I think as somebody who doesn't care about this that much at all, in a respectful way, not, fuck it, it's a piece of shit. I know it's going to be good. If you are vaguely interested in this, it should be showcased for the gameplay. The gameplay is where this game is. It's great that it's a really good tribute to Friday the 13th, but let's be real. Who really cares about Friday the 13th today?
There's a lot of hardcore fans.
There are hardcore fans, and they're
hey, look, the horror movies is a big deal. They have their own horror awards. They're just it is a genre of films.
I'm not knocking horror.
I'm not. I'm just saying
you're escalating that 4 levels above.
I'm escalating it. I'm taking it there.
It's if we're
going to the mat.
Talking about this was a game by fans for the fans.
Yeah,
I would think as the United States, even the world is considered, Friday the 13th is a very small niche.
It is a pillar of horror.
I almost equate it to, hey, we're making an Apocalypse Now game. Like, who the fuck cares about Apocalypse Now?
The Apocalypse Now was a, one-off movie. A lot of casual people liked it, and like, yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay. But Friday the 13th movies are ones where you're like, oh yeah, man, blah, 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 blah. It was a huge series, man.
It was. Decades ago.
Not so long ago, it still had movies made. In the 2000s.
The reason why I'm saying all this is because when you actually look at the game play, when you see the mechanics of the game, when you see the way the game is played out, the game itself is great.
Yeah.
That's why people should want to play this. Friday the 13th is
No, Friday the 13th I think is the best part of it.
Imagine if this was the same game with aliens.
This game wouldn't exist.
This game is what the Alien game should have been.
Well, it is. It is exactly what the Alien game should have been. But here's my thing. They've made Aliens is another property where you're like, oh well, that's one shitty title in a shitty genre.
Alien Covenant that just came out would say different, even though Alien Covenant.
It's one shitty movie. They made a video game about a shitty movie. Shitty, terrible movie. I would wager who's really a fan of Aliens?
And I'm gonna turn to the audience for this one. Please leave us a comment or send us an email and let me know if we're talking popularity or if we're talking about which one do you prefer more. What do you care more about? The Aliens universe or the Friday the 13th universe? Pretty sure the aliens are going to win out.
No, you're comparing the strength of Aliens to the non-strength of a fucking horror franchise.
I'm saying this because
let's look at how they did as films.
Okay.
Let's look at them in terms of their media, not in terms of their story or content.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
When you look at the Aliens universe and the Aliens movies, okay, they were more story-centric than a slasher film ever will be. It could be Nightmare on Elm Street. It could be whatever. There's no giant outside world.
Yeah.
And when they put that shit into a horror movie, it makes it terrible.
But they put the world of Friday the 13th into this game.
Yeah.
Okay, well, they could do the same thing with Aliens, and I think it would have done much better.
They put the concept, the core concept of the movies, which was fucking serial killer goes around, kills fucking
somewhat
teenagers.
Immortal thing is chasing you and trying to kill you one by one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they'd have no defense against it.
Yeah.
That's it. The difference between Aliens conceptually and why I would probably choose a different type of game for Aliens, although I would use some of the same mechanics. Like, a Space Marine has a gun.
Well, hold on now.
A Space Marine has technology on his side and a wide range of wide array of weapons to use.
Let's hold on. I'm not talking about Space Marines. I admittedly haven't seen Alien or Aliens in decades. So, if I'm mistaken, let me know. But in the original Alien, wasn't Ripley and all the other ones around her, weren't they all like basically scientists? I don't think they were space
They
Marines.
were like space, like they truckers
were like
or
travelers.
Something. They were truckers.
Truckers, bingo.
Yeah.
So there you go. They don't have to be Marines.
Okay, well, they still had tech.
And they
still had guns.
They have access to it.
They had flamethrowers.
But they still got to get to it. So an alien could stop them.
Okay, well,
If you're not basing this solely off an Alien movie,
you're only basing that off the first movie if you're doing that.
That's what I'm saying. Movie. There's an example of where you don't have to do it that way. You could be fucking a botanist, a scientist, astrologian, and 9 other characters on this spaceship going. Yeah, Final Fantasy 14, bitch, suck it. You send these people out in space and they're on. Think of Van, you haven't seen it yet, but think of the Alien Covenant movie. They don't have to be Marines at all. They're on a peacekeeping mission, or they're on a discovery mission. Alien gets dropped in their ship somehow. We don't have fucking guns. We're here to find life on other planets.
Okay, well, when we compare the two series,
I can make this game.
I can make this game, but I wouldn't rip out the soul of one movie to put it on another movie and pretend that was a good thing. The idea of look at how the film sold. Mm-hmm. How many Aliens movies did they make?
Aliens movies?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, the Resurrection, Prometheus, and Covenant. I'm going to say there's 6 or 7. Okay. I'm going to say it's 6.
They had 8 while I was in the 2nd grade, Friday the 13th.
Wow.
Okay, and they've come out with like 4 more since then.
Yeah.
This game has had, but this series has had a lot of,
like I said, it
gets a lot of traction.
It's just a personal thing for me.
Well, I mean,
I'm not saying that I hate Friday the 13th, but I'm
saying that there's a fan base out there. There's a fan base out there, and they wanted to be catered to.
Yeah.
And this game,
and they showed they wanted to be catered to with their wallet, which is great.
Aliens has had games, lots of games made off of it, and some of them are pretty good, some of them are not so good at all.
Yeah.
You could the Alien Isolation game, from what I could tell, was fucking awesome.
Yep.
You know, but
is that the one where the one alien was stalking?
Yeah, you like walk around and it just like fucking murder kills you.
And what sold the game for me was that creep factor. That oh shit, it's around here somewhere. What killed it for me is hearing that it's like that until you die to that alien like 5 or 6 times, and then you realize the pattern that he does, and you learn the pattern, you move on. You go to the next area, you die a bunch of times, he does the same exact pattern, you figure out the pattern, oh, let me flip this switch, oh, let me push this button, oh, let me slide under the table, move on to the next area. I understand why, but
maybe the game should just cut off after the 4th death and not let you learn it, and just be like, you died. You turn the game back on, it's like, nah, you're dead, bitch.
Yeah.
Now, any game without like amazing mechanics and a huge robust system behind it is you're gonna spot the pattern.
Yeah.
You can beat the machine because your brain has a little bit more processing power than it does.
Have you played a demo of the Friday the 13th game? Or have you just seen gameplay?
I've watched like live streams and Let's Plays.
Tell me the interesting things about this game. Not solely Friday the 13th specific, but things about this game that made you go, oh, hell yeah. What got you interested in that game?
The thing that got me interested was what was that one game? Prey, where you had the one guy with that monster, and then you had the hunters that tried, all the other players were hunters, and they had one player that was Evolve.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, the gameplay is like that. You have one player that's Jason, and then you have all the other people are counselors.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and you have to go around and basically just completely fuck up all the other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the way, the way the game is set up is the counselor, and here I have some qualms about the way the gameplay is.
Yeah.
I would have gone about it a little bit differently. What I would have, with the way it works right now, is the game starts and you're given a little cutscene. Shows Jason do something he never ever does in any of the movies.
He murdered what now?
He walks up into like a group of people at like the Kumbaya campfire moment.
Uh-huh.
And he just like straight axe murders one of them. And so they all scatter.
Huh.
Okay. So you start off as a counselor knowing that Jason is there and like trying to fucking escape.
Mm-hmm.
That's your whole objective, is get the fuck out of this camp.
Yeah.
Well, you see, my thing about that is that's never how a Friday the 13th movie goes down. You never have all the counselors fucking know that Jason's there.
Usually it's, man, somebody got fucking slaughtered. Was it a bear, a wolf? I don't know. It looks like a knife wound. And then somebody else dies, and it's like, man, who's...
Or they just disappear, and nobody really, only like the last 2 to 4 people know that there's a killer on loose, and it's too fucking late for them.
Yep.
So, what I would have done is I'd have made you play mini games. I'd have had Jason sit back
Adam's Development Corner.
I'd have had Jason sit back and basically gain more power. And the longer he could choose, Jason chooses when to initiate combat.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason would be like, I'm going to spawn right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to, murder this one person who's isolated and, disappear them.
Mm-hmm.
You would have no way of knowing that the other counselors were dead. At all.
Yeah.
You'd have no interaction with the other counselors unless you were in direct contact, like a human being in the fucking 80s.
Mm-hmm.
No cell phone. Maybe you can get a walkie-talkie. There's a walkie-talkie in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. But I would make them walk around and they'd have to actually talk to each other within proximity. They would get points for going out and doing stupid shit. They would be like, one guy has like he starts off and like they have each individual little quests.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, chop wood. And he goes out there and he chops wood. And the more wood he chops, the more experience he's getting. So he's getting something to level up his counselor for the next game.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, ding, ding, 5, 5, 5, 5. Every piece of wood, he's getting 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. And then the quest switches and it goes to go take a shower. And he's going to take a shower and it's 5. A couple seconds later, 5.
Sudding up for points.
Yeah, he suds it up. He's press A to suds up. Suds up, suds up, suds.
Press A to scrub.
Tap A repeatedly to scrub your balls. So, we
no censoring this, right?
No censoring.
It's full
on.
You can watch the dick swinging and
you can watch
and
counselors fucking bounce tits everywhere. Fucking.
So usually,
it would be a slasher film.
So all of the female counselors
are
gonna always be picked. And if you're man. They're tired of being the last one to pick. I'm always stuck with a dude.
They're all listening out around me, and I'm just sitting here like, I guess I'll go take a shower.
Oh, man.
So, they'd have like, dancing and all the other bullshit that would go on. And the longer it went on, the more points they would give. So maybe it goes from like 5 points in action to 10 points in action to 25 points in action, And the entire time, Jason is just, The longer he goes and picks off people without alerting the other counselors, because the moment one counselor spots a dead body, the jig is up.
Right. I like
Okay? So, as soon as that happens, you go into the mode where the game actually starts.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jason is trying to ninja murder people.
Right.
In horrible, brutal ways. And he's getting points for that. For, killing this person stealthily to where no one could find their body, no one could blah, 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 blah. And then maybe he does something that he always did, which was like hang the body up by a tree.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Stuff like that,
I think an additive would be when you have them doing their quests, when they finish the quest, they have to go somewhere, and that somewhere always goes to where they're gonna be able to somehow be interacting with somebody.
Yeah, the quests would like try to lead people towards each other.
Yeah. So if I have Adam over in the left chopping wood, and I'm over at the right repairing a boat, the longer I'm sitting there repairing my boat, I'm like, man, Adam should have been over here 10 minutes ago. I could be thinking, man, maybe he's just back there chopping wood still. Maybe he's still getting more, or that motherfucker might be dead. And I could go out of my way, but when I leave my zone of fixing the boat, number one, I'm losing experience because I'm not repairing the boat no more. But now I'm vulnerable. Oh yeah.
And the thing is, the longer you were doing this, the more of a multiplier you were building up for your escape. So if you escape, it's like 100 fucking points.
Yeah.
Well, you got the 5 times multiplier, so that's a 500 points.
Yeah.
You
have to
2,500 points or something,
You have to add intensity in there, because if we elevate ourselves out of this game,
you want to reward the player for doing things that are likely to get them killed.
Yes.
That's what I was getting. That's what you want to do. You want to reward the counselors for putting themselves out there. That's the idea.
Because if you want to keep this game in its own canon, you don't want to always have the characters going. You want them to be in the setting like the movie was, where they don't know a Jason's out there. Instead of you just being the player going, oh, well, I know Jason's coming. Your character shouldn't know about Jason.
You also end up with weird situations where, okay, you kind of, and I kind of noticed this about this game, is games devolve to a couple of different points. Okay. One, everybody goes and immediately looks out for car parts. They want to find the battery, the gas, and the keys. As soon as they can do that, they put the battery in, they put the gas in, they get in the car, they drive the fuck out and leave.
Yeah.
Or they call the cops and then try to make it to the fucking cops. Or they call Tommy Jarvis and he shows up with a shotgun.
That's my point, is if in the outside of the game, you and I and players know that this is a Friday the 13th game. We understand the point of it is that there is a killer.
Well, what you don't want,
have to kill him or get the fuck away.
I mean,
you would understand that eventually that evolves to, oh, I heard a gunshot. Obviously, that gunshot means somebody's shooting at Jason. Let's all go find the safe point and get the fuck out of here.
Let's all go get armed to the teeth and beat the fuck out of Jason. Because it's like 8-on-1.
Yeah. That doesn't strike like, oh shit moments. That's like, let's go to the gun and shoot the guy.
Now it becomes your PvP in this guy.
Exactly.
And that's not what you wanted.
No, you need intensity in that game.
You need that
fear.
You need it to be visceral.
Yes.
Yes. Very, very visceral. You want Jason to be there and you're like, oh fuck, and you got a split second decision. Left or right, up or down, whichever way you're fucking going. And then you put in the little stats like, and they have these stats in the game. Which is great. Yeah. Like, composure is a stat. A person loses their shit around Jason, she starts tripping and she can't fucking swing the weapon right. Cool. And, well, now you're more motivated to get like the jock character that's like, I got high composure and a high strength and I will knock the living shit out of Jason. So, because in a real slasher film, if Jason walked up and smoked a fucking counselor right in front of all the other counselors, there are 2 or 3 guys that will always go, nah, I'm gonna go kick his ass.
Yep. You hold him down, I'll fucking take his knife away and stab him.
And in the movies, they never do that because they A, don't know, or B, they're 1-on-1 versus Jason and they lose. Yeah. But 2, 3-on-1? Yeah. That boxer dude probably could have fucking fought Jason if he'd been with every other male lead in that movie. He'd have been like, I can solo Jason on my own for about 45, 50 seconds. So if I've got 4 or 5 other dudes helping me, we're gonna whoop his ass. Jason is supernaturally strong, but he's not that supernaturally strong.
Yeah.
Just little gameplay things I would have tweaked.
Yeah.
You know, but I wasn't in charge of it, so maybe next time they'll pick me.
I'll give the game a glance.
I would. It looks like it's going to be fun, even though it is the way it is. The gameplay looks fun.
Yeah.
You know, you got all kinds of different mechanics, like you can hide under beds and you can hide in closets and you can jump out windows and yeah, it's pretty cool. And Jason will like smash the windows.
There's a horror game that I just heard about. I think I heard about it through Easy Allies. Yeah, I did because, shit, I forgot the guy I was talking about it. Anyway, have you heard of these two games called Outlast?
Yes. Did you like an insane asylum or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
I remember like night vision camera and your...
Yeah, it puts you in like these scenarios where like shit's always in your face or always like freaking you out.
Yeah.
Always jumping out at you.
Jump scares are cheap.
Yeah. Well, let me I haven't played these games.
That's the way I feel.
I haven't played these games and I'm not trying to say that that's what these games are about.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish I could remember the guy's name. One of the podcasts he did, he was talking about how the game is relentless.
Yeah.
Like the game keeps putting you in these scenarios where you're like, make this hard decision. All right, now make this other hard decision. You don't shoot that. You weren't supposed to shoot that. Or no, you should shoot that. And it's like, it's so much right after, like, he's like, there was literally a point where I was getting so tense. I was getting so, oh shit, that I had to pause the game and put the controller down.
Yeah.
And now I want to play that.
Yeah.
I'm all about playing something like that.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I didn't mean to say like there's always jump scares.
I want to play a horror game that's like Saw.
Like Saw?
Like Saw. Have you ever seen the Saw series?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean,
I don't consider that like intense though, except for the scenes.
Well, I mean, what it is it's not so much that, oh no, the guy jumped out and grabbed him.
The jeopardy of it.
It's the jeopardy, and you're constantly like, well, what the fuck would I do?
Yeah.
You know, what would I do in this situation? I'd probably do exactly what that dude's doing, and he died.
Yeah, with a timer, yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, you're like, oh, well, fuck.
Man, I will never forget in any of those movies. I mean, I feel like they all escalated to, let's see how gory we can make these scenarios.
Yeah.
And let's wrap a loose story around it. That's how I took them.
And when the thing about a horror movie is a horror movie should never focus on the story, because the moment the story comes into focus, you start going, okay, well, here's all the holes.
Yeah. Spoilers for Saw 1, the movie. Admittedly, the story of that I did like, because I loved at the end when the fucking dude stood up. I was like, oh shit. And of course I'm surrounded by friends that were like, saw that coming.
I knew that was going to happen.
I'm so glad that I am not that person. I hope I will never be that person, because when that guy stood up, I was like, oh shit, that's good. He was sitting there the whole time. He was like, game over. He slammed the door.
This is my shit. Yeah. Oh yeah.
But the next one came out, and the next one was okay, and the next one
it started getting weirder and more story.
Just the trailers were, here's a scenario, here's a trap, here's a thing, and I'm like, all right, you guys have your shtick, and you're rolling 5-6 movies.
Well, that was the cool thing about the Friday the 13th series, up until a point. Up until about I want to say the 8th movie, before New Line Cinema took over, the guys who own Freddy Krueger. Paramount sold the rights to the franchise to New Line Cinema, and they took the character in a completely different direction. That's why you started seeing Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, you know, Jason versus Freddy, and Jason became less of a murderer and more of like a juggernaut, if that makes sense. He was always a juggernaut, but he was a ninja juggernaut.
And this is not the first time this has happened.
You know? You
can look at the Die Hard series where you had John McClane that was just a fucking dude. And now he's a fucking
ultra badass,
saving, ultra jack badass dude. And it's, man, you're taking the spirit.
You've amped this up too high, and it's jumped the shark.
Look at the Fast and Furious movies. I know they're popcorn. I know that they're garbage. They're just throwaway movies. I get it. But even though You had street racers, and they kind of did a cool thing too. Man, we got a globetrot. We got to save the world from nuclear disaster bullshit. I'm like, man.
Yep.
You don't have to always up the game. This is where movies like, I don't know why we're doing a movie tangent, but here we go.
Oh, we are.
This is where movies like Dredd, perfect. Dredd took place in one fucking building. It was against one leader person, and just a bunch of people.
But here's the
scenario.
Thing. Did you
get it done?
Did you like Dredd?
Yes.
You would fucking love Fallout.
Mm-hmm.
You would fucking love Fallout.
Like Fallout 1?
The
game?
The series. The Bethesda games, probably.
Are you talking about
Fallout, the games?
Well, I have played Fallout.
Have you? And you don't fucking see the resemblance?
In Dredd?
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
I'm not catching this.
Wow. So
we're talking about the same Dredd, not Judge Dredd, not the stupid I'm talking about Dredd.
Yeah.
With,
where he was like, okay, let me go in this building and fuck these people up.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have
and
played
I have to survive.
So you have played the Fallout games, like Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas.
I've played Fallout 3 all the way through. Yes.
Okay.
I am not.
And
making
you aren't seeing like you'd walk in there and find like a raider camp with a named raider at the top of it.
No.
I cleared one yesterday.
Adam.
You're like, wait, follow me. Follow me.
I've already caught you. I'm already 2 steps ahead of you.
Okay, then tell me.
The reason why I'm not comparing the two is because Dredd as a movie itself takes place in one building.
Yeah.
Fallout 3 takes place in several buildings across an entire wasteland. Sure. The point that I was focusing on when I don't even what led me to Dredd was that, the essence of movies is that here's how they can succeed making a Dredd 2.
Yeah.
He has to go into another place, and it's just one, maybe 2 buildings. But that's it. He's got one bad guy or one bad girl, again, he's got to take out.
It's not like a world-ending
fail. Where they would fail is, we got to call in Dredd. And Dredd comes in, takes his helmet off, sweats on his brow, wipes it off. What do you need? Oh, we just found out there's a nuclear weapon going off in China. I guess it's time for me to get my guns out again. And I've got to call in my team of fellow dreadnoughts. And they fly over to China.
They fly over, and then their jets assemble into a giant robot Dredd. Yes.
Because
this is the most badass movie concept ever. Let's make this movie.
When you keep a concept small and you just perfect that small concept, that's where you don't always have to.
I get where you're going with that, but I was going more thematic.
Yeah. Oh, now the theming wise, yes.
Theming wise is perfect because it's like, here's this one raider leader, and they have their own little isolated story that's all about this one place they've been there. You can find like the computer terminals that tell you this person, started out doing this, and like the guy I went into this guy's place, and he was like, I guess he got bit by a rabid dog. So he killed the dog, and the guy did it, and slowly over time, you watched him go crazy as he was like, these people are conspiring against me. I can hear them whispering. And so he starts like decapitating his own men and hanging them up on chains and shit. And you're walking by all these guys on the way in. And you're like, what the fuck is going on here? That's a dead raider. And I'm fighting raiders. Did they just not like this dude? And then, what about this guy? And why is this guy's head on a spike? And you're like, what the fuck? You finally get down there and kill him, and you finally read the story to all what happened. And this guy went slowly fucking insane over time.
Yeah.
And like, he went down to the bottom level of this basement level of this place, and he was like, I'm looking for this monster. I know the monster exists. We've got to kill it.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, and eventually, this is the best fucking part. Eventually, his own men were like, because he had killed so many of them, they were just, they brought him a mascot head, and they said, look, we killed it.
Oh, wow.
And he's like wearing the mascot head, thinking that it's some beast that got killed. Yeah. Guy's completely fucking off his rocker. Man. So, you're like, wow. As he like, he's got like all the heads surrounding his little throne. And he's like, they tell me the beast doesn't exist even after their deaths. It's like, they're all mocking me still. And it's like, whoa, dude.
Well, to cap all that off, buddy, Friday the 13th sucks and nobody cares.
Fuck you.
But I hope
Fuck you.
But I hope the game's okay.
I hope.
Also, a really quick tangent. If you do like Dredd the movie, ladies and gentlemen of the audience, you should really go check out The Raid and The Raid 2. I believe they're Cantonese or Korean films, one of the two. But it's same scenario. There are cops in one building, and then they get locked the fuck in. And then everybody in that building wants them dead for whatever reason. And they gotta get the fuck out. And apparently, I've watched the first one. I have not watched the second one yet, but they say the second one apparently is better than the first one. So if you like Dredd, go check those two movies out. Should be good for you. Cool beans.
Does he get mind raped? Like that chick in the Dredd movie?
No.
Damn.
No. Man, everything about Dredd was so good. I love that movie, man.
It got super rapey there for a second.
Dredd.
It was like, wow, I'm kind of I'm like having to shift in my seat. Like,
if
man.
we ever had like a movie cast one day where we just did like a topic of what movies just came out of the blue and like knocked your socks off, that was one of them. Because I knew what Judge Dredd was, and I knew what the movie Judge Dredd was, and I saw this and I was like, bleh, who cares about it? It's me. The Sylvester Stallone was very corny. And then I watched it and was like, oh, you guys took this shit seriously.
When you did, it was totally
awesome. Exactly.
So, how was your weekend?
My week's been pretty good. Beat Suikoden 1. Had a good time with it.
Finally? You finally beat it?
I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
It took like a week and a half.
Took a week and a half?
I think I clocked that game in 21 hours.
Yeah,
I think total.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad at all. Surprisingly, very few side quests. It's more like
you on pace to catch Clive or catch Elsa or whatever fuck her name is.
Yeah.
Done in Suikoden 2.
Yeah, because spoilers for Suikoden 1. At the end, the only extra scene for him is you take him to the grave.
Yeah.
And it's like, here lies so-and-so, and he goes, yeah, this is
she's not dead.
Yeah, she ain't dead. I know better. That's the majority of quote-unquote side quests. There's only like 5 or so in Suikoden 1, and they're all just extra scenes. Yeah. Like, you can take Flick to a specific place, he has a scene. You can take Clive to a certain place, he has a little scene. Mm-hmm. But it's not like a quest, go across the range and do all this stuff. Suikoden 2, on the other hand...
Clive's quest is a beast.
Yeah, Suikoden 2 has several side quests. Also, and I told you this last time we talked about it, I'm actually trying to skim through a guide or two before I go through Suikoden 2. And I remembered why, now that I started reading the guides. There are permanent missables in Suikoden 2.
There were in the first one, but...
Yeah, there were in the first one, but this one's like, there's ones where like you have there's at one point where you have a combination, you can pick 2 of these like 4 people, and you can only get this one rune if you pick these 2, and if you pick the other 2, you won't get it, and all kind of stuff this. That would be a mental detractor for me, but it's not, because there are 108 fucking people in that game.
There's actually more than 108.
Oh, there's more 108.
It's more like 115 or something like that with all the with all the optionals.
Yeah.
Because you could pick Kasumi or Valeria.
Yep.
And you can pick this person or that person.
Like the first optional recruitment that I just got, if you remember the flying squirrel, Kumu or Muku, whatever.
Yeah, Miku or something like that.
Because...
Did you know? When did you get him?
I just now did, at the beginning. Because...
Did you get him behind the tree?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. When you go to your hometown, spoilers for Suikoden 2, I mean, I guess it's kind of a spoiler, but maybe you should know this if you do this, because there's an easy way and a hard way to get this guy. The easy way is at the very beginning of the game, when you go back to the very first town that you started in, your hometown.
And you go to your house.
Yeah, when you go to your house, if you go behind the house, there's a big tree. It stands out amongst the other ones. It's so fucking 90s Nintendo power. Like, you have to go examine that tree 3 times. When you examine it, he'll walk up to it, and then he'll look left and right, and he'll back off. The 3rd time, he'll walk around the tree, and when he comes from around the back, Muku will be behind him, and you recruit him.
That's extremely useful for the fight that occurs right after that.
Oh, yeah. He's not only is he very useful, but that is the easy way to recruit him.
And that is the only easy squirrel to recruit.
Oh, yeah.
Because there are like 6 or 5 or 6 fucking squirrels in this game.
They are a bitch.
You have to walk around with just the other squirrels in your party.
Mm-hmm.
And with an open slot and just walk in certain zones and hope they join randomly.
Yep. So I'll be doing that somewhere ways down the road.
So between that, you got the animal companions like the squids and the other squids. There's so many fucking squids.
You get a horse, a unicorn. I mean,
yeah. There's a unicorn, and I want to say there's you get the griffin and
the griffin. Of course, there's the kobolds. And they were in Suikoden 1 too as well. So lots of good things from Suikoden 1 I enjoyed, man.
Clive's Quest is one that you have to be looking at from the get-go.
Yes.
You have to go into the game like, I'm going to beat this quest. That is my objective for this playthrough.
Yeah.
And if you don't go into it with that mindset, because it took me a while. I beat this game without a fucking guide.
Yeah, and that's incredible. Well, beating the game is not that hard without a guide.
Well, I mean, I 108'd it. I 108'd it without a guide. And I figured out the squirrels without a guide.
Yeah.
I figured out, first time I got the squirrel was the hard way. Believe it or not, just randomly, I got lucky and he popped up in my party. I was like, wow, cool, there's a squirrel there. And, the, like, 4th or 5th time through the game, I found the thing with the tree. And I was like, oh, yeah. And, then I found out about the other squirrels because I randomly got another squirrel. And I noticed, because they all, like, sit up on, like, a castle wall or something like that, and you walk by and they jump off.
Yep.
And I was like, there's room for more squirrels. There's probably more fucking squirrels. So then I started going around looking for other squirrels, and I found them one at a time. And then finally I went and broke down and got a guide. And I was like, oh, okay, this is how you get all the other squirrels. Going
back to Suikoden 1, man, such a good story.
Yeah.
I'm saying this as if I'm saying I forgot, but it's more like because the magnitude of games I've played, I've forgotten so many things. I forgot how much tragedy Tyr went through.
Yeah.
And I've already said this, but I'll say it again. Spoilers for Suikoden 1. Number 1, Odessa dies. That's a big one. I mean, it seems small.
Before that.
Well.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of people that die.
Before Odessa?
Yeah.
Who dies before Odessa?
Ted.
Shh. Does he? No, he doesn't. Does he die? Or he gets captured? You don't know if he dies.
He gets captured and he passes the rune off.
He passes the rune off. Yeah.
And when he does that, he instantly.
Oh, that's right. Because it's the 300 years. Yeah, that's right.
He lives all 300 years all at once, right then.
Exactly. So yeah, you have a guy.
And his last command. The thing is that every time one of your close friends die, that's how your rune powers up.
Oh yeah, that's what I was getting to. So yeah, so his best friend that's his childhood friend, which maybe he found a friend later, because how did Tyr grow up from a baby to a 18-year-old kid, but Ted was pretty much 17 the whole time. I mean, how did that not look? Whatever. I'll look over that. I don't care. But that as far as you, the gamer, that's his best friend. Best friend's dead. That's one. Second, Odessa dies. You just found out about this liberation army, and she's the figurehead, and she dies protecting a child.
Yep.
And she admits to you, she said, this is what, number one, the way that they throw you into this leadership position is not just it's a random person who happens upon this thing. She tells him, compared to me, you just have the face and the eyes of a leader. You have the shepherd. You have that draw to where people just look at you and hear you, and they want to join you. They want to come to your cause. That. And two, and then she dies. She's like, that's why you need to lead, because I'm weak. Because I sacrificed my life to save a child, and I shouldn't do that. And you're like, you know what? He won't do that, but shit happens, and it does. Because later on, his childhood mentor, other friend, Gremio, dies. Horrible. And every time somebody dies, his rune powers up.
Yep.
He has to fight his own goddamn father. Yep. Father's dead. Powers it up again. So much tragedy this guy went through. And then not just him. I mean, everybody around him knows, like, oh shit, we know who he
In Suikoden lore, there's only one person that has it worse than him.
Ted? I mean, Luke?
Nope.
Nope. Oh.
This is the hero of Suikoden 4.
Oh, wow.
They made a rune that was like the soul eater with no benefits.
Oh, wow.
It's a rune of punishment is what they call it.
Wow.
And it just makes you live a shit life.
Yeah.
And it does exactly what you think it would do. It's just like, yeah, okay, everything goes bad for you.
Yeah.
And he's the Tenkai star. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, well, we're gonna have like a really shit time. Mm-hmm. You know, my best friend turns against me and fucking, you know, all this bad shit happened.
Let me ask you something because I imagine you've been through Suikoden a few times, not just once or twice. You remember at the beginning of the game, I think it's Cargus or something. At the very beginning.
The guy with the mustache?
Yeah, the guy that sends you on the mission to Rockland.
Yeah.
Later on, you get the option of either saving him or killing him. What do you do?
I always kill him.
I always kill him. Now, for canon-wise, I have seen people made the argument. It's like, well, killing him does not seem like Tyr. It doesn't. Tyr doesn't seem like the revengeful, murderous type. And a good example of why he wouldn't is if
he murders a lot of people.
Milich killed Gremio, but Milich was under the spell of the Black Rune, though. So, but Tyr could have went, I don't give a fuck. But, of course, you're not going to. You want to recruit the 108 stars.
Yeah.
But since I never, if you leave him alive, if you leave that guy alive, he makes like 1 or 2 lines in the last battle of the game. That's it. He has no effect on the story whatsoever. Oh, I kill him. I kill him. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Man, such a good story. I forgot all the shit that guy goes through.
Yeah, well, it keeps going into the second game.
Yeah.
Second game.
Also, I remembered one of the coolest moments in that game for me was when what was the name of the little dragon knight? The first one? Futch. Yeah. When you're going to get the ingredients for the medicine.
Yeah.
And they say, you know, hey, we thanks for going and getting the flour to get this thing, but we need this flour. But Futch already left. Futch left on his dragon, Black, to go get this. And they're like, where's that? Oh, it's at the Emperor's castle. And you're like, oh.
There's only one of this flour in this entire kingdom, and it's in his garden.
Futch lands and walks through the fucking Gregminster Castle gardens. And he's like, oh, I need to find this thing. And he plucks it, and Barbarossa's like, that flower is one of a kind. I'm like, ooh, the Emperor is right there. He's like, yeah, you go ahead, take it. And Futch is like, okay. And he gets back on Black and takes off. And he's like, man, that was the Emperor? I felt chills, but I thought he was like a powerful thing. Whatever. And then fucking lady, what's her name?
Wendy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wendy comes out and says, oh, hell no.
Just that scene of having little Futch, the little dragon knight, right next to Barbarossa just shows
I thought you were going to mention a different scene.
Well, I mean,
the scene that happens right after, which, spoilers.
Well, when you find out that it was what
it was is that wasn't the last ingredient.
Yeah, it was.
There was one more.
Black's liver.
They needed it. They needed like his heart, I think.
I think it was a liver.
Okay, but they needed like a piece of his dragon.
They needed something, an organ from the dragon, and yeah.
Yeah, it was like, oh, well. He's like, well, did we make the thing? Are the dragons cured? Yeah,
cured. They are.
They're cured.
But
little asterisks though.
Yeah.
Side note.
Well, he tells him. He says, you know, Black was pretty much dead.
Yeah, everybody else is kind of like, well, it's kind of pussyfoot around it. He comes, no.
Yeah, no.
Your fucking dragon didn't live.
Well, and then they go even further by bringing him to Joshua's like, by the way, Futch, got to talk to you before they leave. You know that if you don't have a dragon, you cannot be in the Dragon Knights organization ever again.
Yeah.
He's like, okay. He's like, but Tyr, please take him. Recruit him because he can be a help to you. He didn't just like boot him out because, oh, you lost your dragon. He was like, bro, take him.
Well, he lost his dragon in the course of his duty.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't just like, I'm just fucking around and I lost my dragon. He lost his dragon risking his own life and his dragon's life to save the entirety of the rest of the Dragon Knights.
You would have think that would have gained him some sway, but hey, I don't know the Dragon Knights lore, or I don't know their rules. I'm not going to question it.
Oh yeah.
Such a good story. Oh man, and at the very end when him and it was Barbarossa and what was her name? Wendy, yeah. When he was like, when finally the thing broke free, and she was like, "You just want me because I look like your ex-wife or whatever." He's like, "No, I wanted you because I saw better in you." And he fucking pulls her off the edge, and they die together. Oh,
yep.
Heartfelt, man.
And the best part about Suikoden, the entire series, is right after you see all that stuff happen, right after all that, they go through and they tell you what happened to every motherfucking character.
Yep.
The little boxes pop up.
Before the ending credits, they go a block by block, and you see the character's face, their name, their star that they belong to, and it shows just a 1 or 2 sentence thing about what happened to them. This person stayed in the Federation Army and led through 300 fights or some shit, you know? So good.
The cool thing is
everybody
character
in that game counts.
The main character always dips.
Yep.
It's a reoccurring thing in the Suikoden series.
Which
the main character is like, I'm leaving.
Which is why, and I mean, I know it's such a small thing and it's just one little scene, but one of the greatest scenes to me in Suikoden history is whenever Ryu, which apparently his name is pronounced Ryu. It's spelled R-I-U-O.
It's spelled Rao.
It's spelled Rao, but it's Ryu. Anyway, whenever Ryu is sent to the McDowell area and he meets Tyr, and you just see the camera pans from the right to the left, and on the right you've got Ryu who's coming up in his own liberation army, and you got Tyr. Motherfucker, been there, done that. Was part of the whole scene, just sitting on the pier fishing.
You know, if you don't
his
have
sprite, just looks over his shoulder, and it's just like these two faction leaders, just like, "Hey man, what's up?"
The best part of this, that only happens if you imported your Suikoden 1 into Suikoden 2.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah,
but furthermore, it won't be if you didn't save Gremio in your file. He's not there.
Nope.
It's an instant clue. The moment you see Gremio there, you know who the fuck's back there. Yep. You know exactly who the fuck's back there. And I was like running everywhere. I was like, I gotta find a way to get past this sumbitch.
And you know what? Again, in Suikoden 1, now that I know how movies and stories do it, they set up Gremio dying. Because there's a point where Tyr goes to do something, and Gremio, being Gremio, is like, you know, young master, take me with you. And Victor's like, he's not a kid anymore. He's the leader of a fucking liberation army. He don't need a babysitter. And Gremio's like, but young master, I go with you everywhere. I follow you every whim. Take me. And they're like, let him be. And then they have that scene where everybody's asleep at night before they go to the prison. And you see Gremio get up out of his bed, and he sits over Tyr's bed, and he's like, young master, you've grown up. You're the leader of a liberation army now. I've been with you my whole life. I've watched you since birth. I've been your guardian. Maybe they're right. Maybe you don't need a guardian anymore. I still love you. I still care about you. And they go to that fucking prison, and oh man, they built, I was like, you son of a bitches had to just take that knife and just in your heart.
I think that may, spoilers for Suikoden 4, I think that may be the disconnect I had, because looking back, Suikoden 1 had Gremio, Suikoden 2 had Nanami. Suikoden 3, Thomas had that little knight. You remember the knight that was with him?
Vaguely.
It was like a little girl in a full knight suit.
I think so, yeah.
She had like a big ass spear.
I think so.
They always have one that's taking care of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Suikoden 4, I can't remember that character. And it's odd to me that I can't remember the character that is that.
Yeah.
Suikoden 5 has it. Suikoden 5 has it in spades. Suikoden 5 might have it the worst of any of them.
Yeah.
Because if you fuck up in Suikoden 5, they take it from you right at the end. They're like, rip, goodbye.
Wow.
It's like, yep, nope, you fucked up. So this person doesn't live.
Something else that I liked about the way that they played out something in Suikoden 1 is that at the beginning of the game, Tio, which is Tyr's father, leaves. He heads north to go fight the battle.
Yeah.
So Tio had to hear just through pigeons, word of mouth, whatever, hey, your son is a traitor. Your son is fighting for the Liberation Army now. And you go through this whole game without seeing your father again.
Yeah.
But when you finally do, your father doesn't hold punches. He's
Nope.
like, that is the fucking Liberation Army leader. You will kill him.
Yep.
Or I will kill him. It's not a, son, why did, they don't have a fucking Star Wars episode, whatever. You were supposed to be the hero. It's just a, oh, hey, I heard what you did. I heard you're the leader of the Liberation Army now. You know who the fuck I am. You're gonna die.
I guess you knew this was coming.
They didn't meet out in the field like, you were such a disappointment to me. There's still time.
He's like,
nah.
He's like, you made your decision.
Yep.
I respect you.
I respect you. Now
but
we're
I'm
gonna fight.
But I'm not holding back.
Yep. Yep. Oh man, when Pond quote unquote turned on you,
Yep.
he was like, I can't, I didn't agree with him, but I saw his logic.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I can't let shit happen while dad's away. I mean, if they don't know about this and this shit blows up, your dad's gonna come at me.
Yeah.
And it's so funny how this shit blew up way past that. It got way out to where Pond was like, oh shit, I guess that didn't matter if I turned on you or not.
Yeah. It's like, well, fuck. Same thing for, what was it? In Suikoden 2, you had Joey. Or Joey, or however you want to
I always say Joey.
I always say Joey because there was a W there most of the time.
There's a town in Suikoden 1 and probably in Suikoden 2 called Joustin. The city-state of Joustin. So
yes.
I just say Joustin, Joey. Yeah, Joey.
And Joustin is in Suikoden 1.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's where I get it from.
In Suikoden 1, they actually take over. Yeah, who was it? It was Mathal.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote a letter to the head of the city-states, and he was like, yeah, they're weak right here right now.
Mm-hmm.
You could just, come in and just take that territory.
Yeah.
And that was actually a big political deal in there.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go in there in Suikoden 2, you find out, okay, well, he's like, well, we've been attacked by the city-state before.
Yep.
And he's like, how can we tell? And he's like, well, he's like, so you two are here vouching for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, well, yeah, it's under new leadership.
Yeah.
And trust us. This guy's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay. All right. So I knew y'all were fighting for lost causes. Y'all could have said something.
Mm-hmm.
And that was another one of the little cool moments that Suikoden had. Is like, he's like, you see Flick looked over Victor like, I thought you told everybody we left. And he's like, well, I may have forgotten.
I love Flick and Victor, man. Oh man. Whenever I did find, actually the next day after we talked about it, I saw again the scene where you were already in the castle and you came back from something and Flick was there. And Flick was like, shut the fuck up. Where the fuck is Odessa? And he's like, oh, hey, I remember you. You're that little shit kid. Why? Where is Odessa? Why is she not here greeting me? Why am I not in her audience right now? And everybody else is like, and Matthew's like, she's dead. And he was like, you little shit, you're not worthy to be in her spot. And he storms off.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So good.
You get to see that character completely mature.
Yep.
Completely mature. He's the cool, calm, collected guy in the next game.
That Victor and Flick balance each other out.
Yeah.
Because Victor is the easygoing, it's okay, but he can pick that sword up and get shit happening when he wants to.
He's also
Flick is the make shit happen, and it's hard for him to mellow out.
One person is the level-minded, logic using kind of person. You could see Flick kind of mature into that role over time.
Yeah.
But you couldn't see that with Victor. Victor was like, yeah, I trust this guy implicitly.
Yeah, just sure. Hey, Odessa said you're good. You're good with my book. Flick was like,
No.
You work. You're the son of the Emperor's general. Nah. I see a spy when I see you at a minimum.
It's like best case scenario.
Yeah.
But then you have the scene in Suikoden 2 where they are in the college. You remember? Yeah. And Flick sees I can't remember the exact scene. Something was happening, and they were gonna attack some random innocent person.
Yeah,
and he just comes out like, I'm from the Warriors Village. I don't know if you've heard of it, but when I draw my sword, I have to kill someone with it.
Yep.
And he's like, this sword's name is Odessa, and he pulls it out and like pulls it up to the dude's neck. He's like, is it worth dying for today?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
So good.
And then he goes back and he's like, yeah, there's no rule like that in the Warriors Village.
Now, a cool thing that I saw in Suikoden 1, and I'll tell you why I saw this both ways. I did have to go back because I found out I made it about maybe 40 minutes into the game, and I read up about the easy way to get Muku Muku, and I was like, I'll restart the game. I'll start over. I'm only 40 minutes in. No big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first time, spoilers for Suikoden 2, this is the way the game opens. It starts out, you see Jowie. He's in a youth camp. And it's like at nighttime. Everybody's asleep. And he's just changed out of his is he in the mercenary camp or the city-state camp?
He was in the Unicorn Brigade.
They're in the Unicorn Brigade.
He was in the Unicorn Brigade of Highland.
Which is the Highland
Army. Highland
exactly.
military.
So he is a Highland soldier, but he's in the youth brigade. He's in the kids brigade.
Yeah, it's like a scout squadron that was supposed to be like it's a place where they put people that aren't quite 18.
Right.
But they're not supposed to go into combat.
Right.
So it was it's more of a symbolic unit and like a stepping stone unit for, young officers. Right. Basically.
So without knowing anything, you when you're talking to the different youths in the camp, you realize that there's a mercenary type area. There's the renegades, the people that are against your guys.
You find that one guy that's he says he's going to go back and bang your sister. Do you remember that guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, you should have let that slip. And they didn't even follow it up. I'm like, Jowie didn't say nothing?
He's like,
Jowie, you should have said
he's
something.
Like, when we get back to town, I'm going to totally just fuck the shit out of your sister.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's an exact quote.
Yeah, exact quote.
But no, you understand, this is if you had not picked up Suikoden 1 and didn't know shit about it. Suikoden 2 starts out with Jowie in a camp. He's out of his little soldier uniform. He's changed into his casual wear. And you also find the main character, Ryu, has also done the same. That's how they talk to each other. He goes, oh, I see you changed our uniform really quick. You must be in a real hurry. You find out that they have basically gotten leave. They're basically getting to go back home. Yeah. And they're like, shit, yeah, tomorrow morning we're going back home. And all the kids around you are talking about, we got night duty, whatever. We don't want the rebel army to get near or whatever. So you understand you're on the side of the Imperials. You're on the side of the city state, so to speak. And the opposition are the renegades. So if you were playing Suikoden 1, the renegades, which is the side that you're on, is the bad guys, and everybody else you're the good guys, everybody else is the bad guys. This game starts out the opposite way. Mm-hmm. You just don't know that you're on the wrong side. You're just a soldier. You're a kid soldier. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, they go to sleep, and then a fight breaks out. And they're like, oh shit. They wake up. What the fuck's going on? They step outside, and your commander's like, oh, we got ambushed overnight. Must have been them fucking mercenaries. Oh shit. All the help is east. Go east. Take off that way. So, following the narrative, the first time I played, I went east. And I came back. And fucking Luca Blight was there.
Yep.
And they're like, even Jowie's like, wait a minute, I know him. And you see Luca and that cat Raud talking.
Yeah.
And he's like, why the fuck is he talking with him? And they're like, what's going on? They see you and you're like, oh shit. And you take off.
But no, he actually talks to you, doesn't he?
I think he says something to you. He's like, oh, here's two little soldiers that couldn't listen to their commander's directives. Like, they don't know you don't know east from north or some shit like that. I don't know. But, you find out now that you weren't attacked by the mercenaries. You were attacked by your own people.
By the Highland Main Army.
By the Highland Main, that would be like your dad's group just came and killed you. And you and your main character, the only two kids that survived. So these kids, these 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, about 20 of them were slaughtered
in their camp.
Slaughtered in their camp. And then you find out by their own fucking people.
Yep.
And they're like, what the fuck? And they take off. And they split up. That's an opening for a story.
Yeah.
That if that don't grab you, stay away from the game.
You immediately like have to make like the suicide jump into a river.
They make a mark on a cliff and they're like, hey, on a rock on a cliff, and they say, hey, if we ever get separated, we need to come back here. And they jump off and you get split up. And luckily, lo and behold, fucking Victor and Flick find you, the main character. Mm-hmm. Jowie shows up later though. He breaks. I thought that was a cool scene where, so Jowie breaks into the little prison. He breaks you out. Yep. They go up the stairs. Flick and Victor are right there. And Flick's in front. And Flick's like, kid, you are fucking up. You need to get back in that cell because you're not going nowhere. And Jowie's like, I can't quote the banner back and forth, but he's like, are you going to try to break out? And he's like, yes. He's like, you need to fucking back down, kid. You don't know who I am. And Jowie's like, fuck you. And he runs at him and Flick just fucking lays him out. Like nothing. Just BAM! Lays him out.
And then you get to duel him.
Yeah.
And you can win that duel.
Mm-hmm.
You can win it. You should win it.
The reason why this story is so great is because, like I just told you, Jowie and Ryu are friends. Like they grew. Actually, after they jump off the cliff, they do that little montage of the scenes where
shows
it shows
like
them
how they grow up.
Shows them growing up as a kid. It's Jowie, Ryu, and Nanami. Shows them all growing up as kids.
And Genkaku.
Yeah,
their
show
grandfather
them learning martial arts under the same, old man. It shows Ryu and Jowie joining the Imperial Army, becoming an actual soldier. Shows them marching off to war. So you understand from the beginning of the game, these two are childhood friends.
Yep.
The reason why this game gets really fucking good is because just like Tactics, Final Fantasy Tactics in a way, these two split up, and it's not an amicable split.
Nope.
And their story with each other, that's just two people.
Yeah.
There's 106 more fucking people in this game.
Oh, yeah.
Not to mention Luca Blight and his whole shit as a whole. So good. So fucking good. I love these games.
Yup. You should really play the rest of the series.
I'm going to make my hardline stance on these right now so I can say it on the podcast and I can say my piece about it.
Okay.
You twigged me into playing 3. You told me to stay away from 4. You also said I should really play 5, and I should get to Gaiden. I got that from you.
Yeah.
I've always taken your advice, and I will probably never play 4. If I ever feel the need to, I will sit on my ass here and maybe watch a plot synopsis or read something about it. But if you say that game is bad, I'm not touching it.
What I'm telling you is that is the worst one.
Okay. I played through Suikoden 3. And maybe if I played through it again, I could write down a review and explain to you why, but it did not capture me the way 1 and 2 did. 1 and 2 almost have a neck-and-neck fight over which one is better. I picked Suikoden 2 for different reasons. But the magic, the draw, the feel, I get from 1 and 2, I just get a, hey, cool story from 3. And that...
Here's part of the disconnect, because... what you're getting in 3 is like 15 years after 2.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to see, Flick and Victor are fucking old and they're like, yeah, I'm not fighting anymore. Fuck that. So they don't even exist in the game. People that were children in the second game are now full-fledged adults. People that were, young kids in the first game are now old adults.
Yeah.
Part of the thing that separates Suikoden 1 and 2 from the rest of the series is Suikoden 1 and 2 are sequential.
Yeah.
Directly sequential.
Yeah.
Suikoden 3 is way later. It's still sequential, but it's way later.
This is the
it's
way
a big
that
break.
I put it. Suikoden 1 tells a story, has a universe.
Yes.
Suikoden 2, in the same universe, continues that story.
Yes.
Suikoden 3, whole different story, same universe.
Yes.
And that jump to me, I can't feel it.
Yeah.
I can't feel it.
Well, I mean, you can get some of it. It's there. It's not fucking Chrono Cross.
Oh, no. I would recommend somebody playing Suikoden 3.
Okay.
No doubt.
Well, Suikoden 3, for one, it caps off one character's arc from first boss of the series to last boss of the series.
Yeah.
It also shows, another side to another conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And it caps off multiple characters' arcs.
Yeah.
It does have throwbacks to the original game. It has severe throwbacks to the original game. Suikoden 4, it has some devices in it that are important. Like you get to see what Ted was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But Ted is the only, Suikoden 4 takes place 150 years before Suikoden 1.
Yeah.
It is far and removed from the rest of the series.
Mm-hmm.
It is so far removed that, the only character that's the same is Ted.
Yeah.
And the keeper of the tablets.
Yep.
And you're like, wow, oh, Gene's there.
Yeah.
Because no one ever knows what the fuck's going on with Gene. But Suikoden 5
She'll only join you if you got a lot of people.
Suikoden 5 is the best one since 2, and I put it this way. If you play 1, 2, and 5 right together,
mm-hmm.
they fit perfectly.
Well, maybe I'll try that.
Because what you see 1 goes into 2, okay, and if you go ahead and do like the private eye stuff for George
mm-hmm.
on Suikoden 2
mm-hmm. and
see all his plot, and then witness what happened right immediately before Suikoden 2
mm-hmm.
in Suikoden 5. Because Suikoden 5 explains completely where George is coming from. If that makes sense.
I have no connection to George. You have a lot of connection to George.
That's because I played Suikoden 5.
Flick and Victor, that's my Suikoden tie right there. George seems to be your tie, but I don't have
Well, I like Flick and Victor, but I guess the main thing is I like to see like what Killy and Lorelai were doing.
Mm-hmm.
They were in Suikoden 2 as well.
Mm-hmm.
But they were also in Suikoden 5. Same thing with Suikoden Gaiden. Suikoden Gaiden tells you a lot about Suikoden 2 that you didn't know was going on. Suikoden.
See, now that would make me very.
It also ties 3 together even better, because in Suikoden 3 you get Nash in your party as a party member, and he's constantly referring to his missus, but you don't know who the fuck that is if you didn't play the Gaidens.
Yeah,
and they're a visual novel. They're a completely different style of game. You're gonna get more story than you are anything else, but it's a good. I mean, if you do nothing but just watch the damn thing,
I'll probably watch it.
There's 2 Suikoden Gaidens.
Yeah.
But you watch those and you can see a lot of development with like, Nash was watching, you remember when they waited at the Gates of Muse for Jowie?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He was there. Nash was there watching them.
No kidding.
Yeah. He intersected through all kinds of events in Suikoden 2. He wasn't directly involved in them, but he was like, oh, there's some soldiers over here.
Mm-hmm.
That they're about to get behind. Nah, fuck that. Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's like doing stuff on the back end that nobody notices. And you never noticed in Suikoden 2, but now you have extra insight into it.
I just thought of a couple other cool things in Suikoden 1. I love talking about this game.
Oh, yeah.
You remember I think it was the last battle whenever, they had the 15,000 troops, but they had like 8,000 monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And was it Wendy? I think Wendy was on your side.
No, Wendy was Empress.
She shows up and she's like, hold on. Cause Matthew was like, here's how it really rolls down. We have at the max, if you recruited all 108 stars, you had 18,000 troops.
Yep.
And then it dwindles down a few thousand if you don't have that many. Like, I think the max, if you didn't recruit anybody extra, you could have like 14,000.
Yeah.
So he tells you, like, here's how it is. We're like 15,000. They have like 25. He's like, I'm sorry, we're going to be outnumbered. And Leknot shows up. She goes, hold on. Because my fucking sister, Wendy, summoned a shitload of monsters.
I have the other half of the gate rune.
And cuts half them off. And they're like, she's like, nah. She don't have these fuckers. It snaps her finger again and all the monsters are gone. And it's like, well, now they have 16,000. We have 15,000. I think we have a chance now.
Yeah.
Also, I love whenever you were trying to break into somewhere or you were trying to get into somewhere and you had to have somebody made something and then Kimberly had to forge the Emperor's signature. Mm-hmm. Kimberly was like Matthew's girlfriend or whatever. And
Tahoe's girlfriend, I thought.
I forget who she was somehow related to Matthew because Matthew was like, if I need something forged, go grab her because she can forge anything. So you take Flick I should have known because Flick was automatically in your party, but you go recruit her and she goes, okay, I'll forge the Emperor's signature for you. What's in this for me? And you're like, and she looks at Victor, she goes, hey boy, you're kind of cute. And Flick's like, I got a girlfriend. She's like, nah. We're gonna go on a date. If we go on a date, then I'll do this. And he's like, he like dips his head, and it shows them at a table, and she's like twirling her glass around. She holds it out. She goes, my tea's empty. And he's like, yes, ma'am. and she's like, I notice you're not drinking your alcohol. He's like, no, I'm trying to stay sober. Oh, it was so, and every time, if you ever have him in your party when she's around, she's like, hey, cute boy. It's so, I love it. I love it. Such a good game.
Oh, yeah. So many little ties, and that's part of the I think that's the biggest thing you're missing out of the rest of the series is they flesh the other games out.
Yeah.
All Suikoden games do that, and it's a great thing. You're never going to see another one.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to flesh out the rest of the games, Suikoden Tactics does it. Mm-hmm. It fleshes out backstory that you didn't see before.
Yeah.
They all interconnect and add just a little bit more. So the next time you play Suikoden 1, you'll be thinking, oh, okay, this is why this is happening. Because this person saw this, and it influenced their decisions on, like, oh, okay, I understand why Flick and Victor are the way they are, in Suikoden 2, because I saw what they went through in Suikoden 1.
Yeah.
And, okay, I understand why this guy who was raised by Flick and Victor acts the way he does, because he was influenced by their experiences, etc.
Yeah.
I always loved how they interconnected. That was my favorite thing.
One person that escapes me in Suikoden 1, I always wanted, and I spoil this for me if this happens in 2. But again, with the last battle, when you finish the last battle, Uber's like, yeah, fuck this, and he leaves.
Every time.
What happened? Where does he go?
I don't know. That was never explained. Never ever explained.
You see him and Wendy and Necklord 300 years in the past.
That tells you that they have a true rune.
Yes. And then, you see him again in the future, and he's leading the army, and you win the war, and he's like, peace.
But you see Yubber outside of his army in Suikoden 3.
I believe so. I think
he's not wearing it.
Suikoden 3 threw me off with him because he has this cool, like, Black Knight armor outfit in 1 and 2. And then in 3, he's got the suit and the top hat.
Yeah, he's wearing kind of just a like
hat, I guess.
Just standard
red
fucking
scarf.
Clothes.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Suikoden 3.
Damn.
Sorry. Can't do it. Can't care.
Damn.
But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I've actually got a list of RPGs that I'm going to be playing in a row. I'm just in an RPG mood right now, which is good for me because I haven't been in an RPG mode in a while. But I'm going to finish 1 and 2. I'm going to go ahead and work on Lunar 1 and 2. Which you said I should. I'm going to go back for Tactics. And Tactics is actually one of the most important ones up there because, and you can agree with me, Final Fantasy Tactics, it's not that it has a convoluted story. It's a little hard to grasp. There is a lot.
It's a complex story.
It is there is Game of Thrones.
There's a lot of political intrigue going on.
Game of Thrones shit's going on, and there's revelations every turn.
Yeah.
I've only played Final Fantasy Tactics 1 time in my life. I beat it.
Yeah.
But this was also back when I was like 16, 17 years old.
Let me tell you the key to beating this game and beating the shit out of this game.
Yeah,
if you just want to absorb the story. Make yourself some ninja monks.
Ninja monks. Okay.
What you do is you level up the monks till they unlock the ninja class. Well, you have to switch jobs eventually to go like thief or whatever.
I play Final Fantasy 14. I know how this goes.
Okay. Well, you get the ninja class unlocked. Then you go a level of ninja, a level of monk, level of ninja, a level of monk, level of ninja, level of monk. Mm-hmm. And eventually they will be super fast. They'll get 2 attacks and they will hit like fucking trucks.
Cool.
So they'll be really good at jumping, really good at moving. The monk skill set is probably the best one in the game because it can do ranged attacks, physical attacks, and heal itself.
Yeah.
So you've got that. Throw isn't fucking that useful. I mean, you know, if you need like something that does a certain element, I guess it's okay.
Yeah.
Or if you just have like a shit ton of extra equipment laying around, you know, you can fling a flail at somebody for no reason. Might be better to use your punch arts, but
yeah.
Monk Ninja is a great combination in that game.
Got it. I'll remember that when I go through, but that's gonna be months away from now. I want to go through that, and I may go through it twice because all I remember was that it had a really good fucking story, but my brain was rattled when I beat it. I was like, man, I'm sure I missed stuff or I got shit confused.
They need me to break it down for you?
No.
Okay.
I want to go through it. I want to go through it and see if my 35-year-old man brain can handle it. And if I run into, I don't know what the fuck, I'll let you summarize it for me.
Okay.
I'm also going to go through Baldur's Gate 2 and
Jesus
Valkyria
Christ.
Chronicles.
And I've got another friend that's going through Baldur's Gate 2 right now,
Right,
just
this
because
moment.
I told him about me telling you about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so he decided to go back through it.
Mm-hmm.
And oh man, I was wrong. It was fucking AD&D is what it's based off of with Thakos. Oh God.
What are you setting me up for?
Oh man, it was an ancient fucking D&D system.
Jesus.
So, get ready to get your shit kicked in.
I may save that for very last.
Cause, it's gonna be, he is a D&D player.
Oh, well, and he's having a hard time with it?
Oh yeah.
What the fuck are you doing to me?
Oh yeah.
What are you doing?
He's like, oh man, I guess it's time to catch the dick.
Either way, I'm gonna try my best with it.
I remember.
Because you said the story was great.
The story's great.
That's what I told you I want this game for was a story.
If you play Baldur's Gate, and even if you get like halfway through it and it just gets too fucking hard for you and you can't beat it, but you like the story and you like the gameplay for the most part, I can recommend other games in that same vein. Okay. You could do Baldur's Gate, or you could do Planescape Torment, or you could do, Pillars of Eternity, or, what was the last one that came out? It was made by people who made Pillars of Eternity. It was Tyranny.
Okay.
Yep. That's also a good game.
Well, I'm gonna whip my big fucking gamer dick out.
Then you're gonna get it cut right the fuck off.
I'm gonna try it.
By Baldur's Souls.
I'm gonna give it a solid go. And the last thing that I'm gonna play to cap it all off for my RPG escapades is Xenogears. I'm gonna live up to our bet, and I'm gonna play through Xenogears. Or not our bet, our pact. Which my question to you is, when are you gonna roll through Soul Reaver 2?
Oh, I need to get my life in order before I can do that. Okay. Jesus Christ, that's gonna be an undertaking. Is what that's gonna be.
I'm telling you, you're gonna thank me when it's over.
I hope so.
Wow, this fucking story about 2 vampires was way bigger than what
2 vampires fucking each other. Oh sure. Yeah, it's like Lestat. Sure. Oh no.
That's been my week. I just now started Suikoden 2, and my time is it's not getting limited. It's just limited every day. So I haven't had the days where I have 2 days off in a row. That's fucking great. I can spend some time doing it, but we'll see. And also, like I told you before, I'm not in a hurry. I'm not rushing through Suikoden 1 and 2. I want to get through it. I want to engulf the story. I want to soak it in. I want to be like, yeah.
You want to get all up in there.
I want to have those moments. I'm not trying to like blaze through and speed run the game. I'm trying.
You definitely
and it'll be the same way with tactics. When I go through it, I want to take my time and get the story.
Yeah.
I don't need to speed run this shit.
Well, which tactics are you going to do?
If I do tactics, it's going to be the PlayStation Final Fantasy Tactics.
Okay.
The original.
They did,
or would you recommend the other one? Tell me your spiel on that, because I need to know.
Okay. I have this thing, okay, because they did what they did to Chrono Trigger. Everything always goes back to fucking Chrono Trigger. They went back and retconned Chrono Trigger because Chrono Cross was so fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Well, Final Fantasy 12, they went back and retconned Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah, which I don't remember things from Final Fantasy Tactics that should belong in 12, with the exception of Ivalice. Now, again, that's going back to a 16-year-old mind that played Tactics and a 28-year-old
They just built, like, there's a character, Balthier.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm the leading
His
man.
fucking stupid ass appears in Final Fantasy Tactics now.
Watch your mouth, you be smirched.
And he fucking, the reason that I hate him and that I crystallize him immediately in the War of the Lions, okay, is because he takes a character from Final Fantasy Tactics who was a staple party member. Mm-hmm. There was one character that had a job that he was perfectly suited towards. Mm-hmm. It was it was not Grumio. It was Grumio!
Grumio confirmed for Final Fantasy Tactics.
It was Mustadio.
Yeah.
And he was the perfect chemist because he was long range, he had good movement stats. You know, he was a great support character. Mm-hmm. This motherfucker comes in there and he's just Mustadio on crack.
So Mustadio got out Mustadioed.
Basically.
Gotcha.
So this guy comes in here and he's like, oh, I have the same skills, but more and better. And, oh, I have all this stuff that you did, but better. And I do more damage.
Now, I've heard, if we're taking that, grabbing it in your hand and throwing it out of the picture,
yep.
I've heard that the War of the Lions apparently is a better version. It has better translations. It tells the story better.
They go into ye old English,
which is great.
Which is it's good. Okay, I mean,
thought
there are some
had
good
ye old English.
No, it didn't. Not even a little bit.
Maybe just the names made me think that. The town names and the people names. They have very unique styles.
They put different spins on things. Mm-hmm. There's two prominent additions that I can remember. There's an Onion Knight. Mm-hmm. So you can be an Onion Knight now. And what that is that class levels up as you level up every other class. Oh. And it can become ridiculous because, you can take stuff like, if you've got like all the fighter classes maxed out, then you become like some kind of Jesus when you switch that person over to Onion Knight. Mm-hmm. They don't have any skills, but they can just run through rampaging. The other thing is they added in, I do believe that Ramza can finally get beyond the Squire. I do believe he can finally attain Dark Knight and Knight. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I played the upgraded version, but I remember there being something about like the Holy Sword techniques and stuff like that that everybody else graduated to, but for whatever reason Ramza never did.
Yeah.
Well, now he can get that. Mm-hmm. And those were needed additions. They also switched some stuff. Blade Grasp was kind of broken in Final Fantasy Tactics for PlayStation. They unbroke it. So it's not 100% guard now. Yeah. It doesn't catch bullets, which is always good.
Ow.
Yeah, it caught bullets before. It was like,
Jesus.
Catch almost everything except for an arrow. Mm-hmm. And, so, you no longer have like 100, the builds aren't as insanely OP as they were.
What I need to know from you is if I'm picking between the two versions, mind you, I'm going for the story. Mm-hmm. Which should I play? What would you recommend I play?
I would say Final Fantasy War of the Lion, or I'd say the PSP version has a bit more to it. Okay. It's a bit different. It's more of an in-depth plotted out spin. I think I've showed you before where they had the cut scenes. Mm-hmm. Instead of it being the in-engine, like them walking around and doing all that kind of stuff, they've got it now animated with cell shade animation. Mm. And it looks good. It sounds good. Yeah, it's okay. But they have the same conversation, but now they're voice acted, and you can hear the inflection in their voice. The voice acting's good.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with the PlayStation.
Okay.
I know, but like I made the argument last episode, I don't need that shit. And every time that it does, it changes it for me, and I'll stick with the PlayStation.
Okay.
a company that did this right, and I did enjoy the way they did it. You remember the Final Fantasy, whatever the one that had Final Fantasy 6 and Chrono Trigger in the same PlayStation bundle?
Uh-huh.
They had anime scenes. I liked it. I actually got to see Frog cut that fucking mountain in half. That was cool. I thought they did those very well, but I don't need the one from Tactics.
I didn't need the retcon. Yeah. I completely hate that version for multiple reasons.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
I do want to talk about one more thing before we roll into today's topic. This actually just happened today, so it's very fresh.
Ruh-roh.
Fresh. That's our new fresh content.
No. Yeah, I'm vetoing that. I'm throwing the veto down.
You just gonna go ahead and say that? No?
Yep, no.
Well, since there's only two of us, I guess that happens. My wife and I went and saw a movie today. Just came out. We went and saw Wonder Woman today.
Oh, yeah?
Oh man, I can't wait.
Was it the best movie you ever saw?
This is very inside between me and you, but this is another reason why it sucks that, our fellow coworker is now in a different building away from us during our work times, because he gave me shit since he heard about it. He was like, "You gonna watch Wonder Woman, ain't you?" And I was like, "Fuck no, fuck Gal Gadot. I don't like why." And he's like, "Oh, you." So we went and saw it today. Now this is the newest DC as of this recording. This is the newest DC movie in their DC cinematic franchise, if they even have that. And I actually told somebody, I made a statement that if this movie was good, it didn't have to be great or phenomenal, but if it was good, if I enjoyed it and had a good time, I would be interested, and I'll give Justice League movie a chance. Well, I'm going to give Justice League a chance because Wonder Woman was actually very good. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I would say it's on the tier, if not a little better. I'd say it's on the tier of, say, Iron Man from a Marvel side. It tells a story, pretty much sort of an origin story of Wonder Woman. Cinematography was great. Acting was great. It seems like they took that, her arc and her story seriously. From a critic's point of view, from a cynical peering through the eyes, pointing fingers, I saw a few things that were like, wait, that didn't make sense. But as far as entertainment value, compared to, say, Suicide Squad, way better. Way better. The story was told very well.
I actually didn't mind Suicide Squad so much. I thought that they cut the best part of the fucking show out.
I feel that was like a 4 out of 10 movie for me.
I feel like it was a solid 6.5. Yeah. And the reason I would call it worse is because they decided to focus on the wrong things.
Yeah.
They decided to be like, oh, well, let's make this a prototypical movie where, the guy that's really quiet ends up being the dude that saves them all at the end and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, no, they could have gone without all that shit. They could have removed Croc, the Diablo guy, and Captain Boomerang and the Climber dude. And
yeah, Mr. I'm here just to get blowed up. I'm sorry, spoilers for Suicide Squad.
They could have removed all those guys and put in like one or two like people that were gonna make fucking one more character that was gonna get actually developed. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that would have been okay.
I don't know jack shit about the Suicide Squad canon in comics. So I don't know how much of the Joker is involved in that storyline in the comics.
In the comics, he is involved, but they have like a falling out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about her. Yeah, I don't particularly like the arc because I think it rips apart the best part of Harley Quinn as a character.
Mm-hmm.
That's a core function is that she's like tied to the Joker.
Yeah.
For better or worse, mm-hmm. she's tied to the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they played up. There's this romanticized version of this now that's going around the internet. I don't know if you noticed it.
I have.
He's like, I want to be like Harley Quinn in the Joker. No, the fuck you don't.
No.
That's like the abusive relationship.
That's the edgy people being like, oh, I want to wear stupid makeup and have our little cute little relationship. That's not what
They don't have a cute relationship.
That's not what that is.
They don't have any kind of normal relationship at all.
I mean, if you're the severely beta dominant underling type where you just love being mentally, physically, and verbally abused throughout your relationship on a legitimate fucking level, then yeah, sure.
Yeah, you want a relationship just like theirs.
If you want to be the female that's like, I love you through the stars, and him being like, I don't fucking care about you. You just fucking cook my food or do what the fuck I tell you to.
Sometimes he cares. He cares when he wants something.
He cares when he wants something.
Yes.
Yeah, no. Actually, really funny.
But the best thing about Harley when she appeared in the animated series was that she was the only character that actually developed the fucking Joker.
Yeah.
She was like, let me make the Joker better.
Yeah.
You know? And in turn be awesome myself.
I meant to tell my wife this, but I had heard when the movie was over, of course everybody goes to the bathroom. I had to piss like a racehorse because I didn't want to. I just
usually just let it go right on the guy. Nobody will know, like,
it's right there on the.
I try to arc it onto the row right in front of the person.
Oh, you pull dick out? I thought you meant you lived in your pants and you just go.
No, I arc it above the row in front of me and try to hit the row 2 rows in front of me so that they think it's the person right in front of me.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I went to the bathroom and there was a young couple outside. They were They were leaving. They were walking out, and I heard the girl say, "I want a Diane and Steve relationship." I was like, "Well, that's fantasized, but that's cute. Why don't we have more of these instead of the I want the Joker and Quinn relationship?"
Well, it's because people don't really know. They see Harley Quinn and the Joker and they think, "Oh, it's mad love.
It's so cool."
It's not. It's so dark. It is not. It is probably I had to explain this to somebody one time. I was like, do you even understand what kind of relationship they actually have?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But anyway, on to Wonder Woman, I don't want to spend half an hour. I just want to say it was very good. I went into it. I kind of internet blacked it for a good while. The reviews were coming out a week in advance. And the low buzz that I heard was, hey man, they finally are doing it right. And I was like, okay, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that because it's going to give me false expectations. And if that movie's fucking bomb, I'm going to be like, y'all said. So I quit listening. I was like, don't tell me about it. Don't read reviews. Don't even watch spoiler-free ones. So I went and saw it as it was. And I was very entertained by it. It tells a real good story about Diane. Shows an origin story. It really shows a coming up for her power, for her origin and everything. Really good romance story. The whole time she's trying to fight this villain, and then the villain is not who you think it is. And it's not what she thinks it is. It's a challenge of her faith, so to speak. So, another thing that I really liked about it is they could have tied this into the Justice League hardcore. They could have had at the end of it had some super tie-in where like Batman shows up and talks, or she gets an invitation from who the fuck knows what. And this is not a spoiler. At the beginning and the end of the movie, you get a letter from Batman. That's it. And that's the only tie this has to the Justice League. There's no like epic trailer and the Flash shows up for a second and a paradox and no. This is her movie.
Yeah.
And it's all about her and this story about her. It has a very compelling line to it as well. I don't want to spoil it because I know you ain't seen it either. But it's worth a watch. I think you'll get a good bit of entertainment out of it when and if ever you see it. Now, is this the what I'm not going to say is that this is like the revitalization of the DC movies. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that this is the one that made me go, okay,
I'm ready for this.
They're ratcheting the game up from a 7 to an 11. Yes, but it's more of a, okay. All right, if Justice League, the movie that's coming out in a year or so, is in this same style, this same, okay, how you guys are taking it, I'll give it a try. So we'll see. We'll see. So that's pretty much been my week. I'm sure I saw other movies, but I've forgotten about them. I want to get on to today's topic, which is favorites. Favorite game stories or storylines. Now, you did make a good point that we probably talked about some of these already, but who knows? Maybe we haven't. This isn't a top 5 or top 10 or your number 1 favorite versus my favorite. It's just think of in gaming history and your legacy of the games you've played.
Okay.
Think of the stories that the stories that stuck out the most, the stories that were, man, that was fucking great. It could be one game, it could be a series of games, but
okay,
I'm going to talk about something today.
All right, well, why don't you lead this off?
Sure, I'll lead off with Suikoden 1 and 2. We've already talked
you
about
bastard.
Your turn. I mean, really quick, I could say two of them off the bat to give you some time to think. Suikoden 1 and 2, I'm two different ones beside this one. This is just one. Suikoden 1 and 2 are both good. If you fast forwarded and you're here from the spoiler section, spoiler-free stuff about Suikoden, awesome story. It has, at a low side of it, it has a generic, in like Suikoden 1, there is a bad guy. There's an evil emperor out there, and oh no, gotta go take out the bad guy. But underneath that, there are these true runes that handle everything, and they are very powerful. You have ones that control fire and all fire. You have ones that control water and all water. You have some that control
they basically
death.
Take a force or a concept in that universe, there's a rune that controls that.
And there's a person that has that rune, and that person is in direct control of all of it. So as opposed to you having Superman, and Superman is control of all of his powers, and either he is good or he is evil. Imagine every aspect of the world having a human with human emotions and human stories and human ties swaying the balance of that rune. Good character development. You have 108 playable characters in both of these two games. Now, I will admit wholeheartedly that not every single 108 character has 14 pages of dialogue.
Yeah.
And 14 pages of narrative.
But
there are cooks that you meet in that game. You're not going to get the extreme backstory of all 4 cooks or blacksmiths.
Well,
but they all have ties.
I will throw this out there that they do have you do have situations where a random member based on their position in your formation will talk in those games.
Yeah.
It is not done where they have a generic line.
Yeah.
They have a concept like, somebody could say, let's get out of here. We need to leave.
Yeah.
You know, and they'll say, one person may say, let's get out of here. And another person will say, we need to leave. Another person would be like, it's time to go.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Another person would be like, should we stay here?
Yeah.
You know, and they'll do something in character.
Yeah.
They'll say the same thing, but they'll say it in a different way. Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll say it in a way that, you know, you have like the real chickeny character is going to be like, it might be time to go, you know.
Both of these stories have somebody in a scenario where they are coming up from the bottom. They are, in Suikoden 1, you got a young man that has basically an entire concept of an army or a renegade army thrust upon him.
Yeah, he's kind of like a disposed noble.
Yeah. And he goes up through his ranks recruiting people and having all these tragic or great stories. You know, it's not all tragic either. There are great battles won. There are great battles that are fought. There are one-on-one battles, you and one other person. Very important fights that happen. Very, very good story. And same thing happens in the second one. You know, you find out you basically get recruited into and start becoming the leader of this army. Even though there are 2 veterans right there with you. Very good stories, very worth a play. Another one that I would mention, I don't know if I should sweep this out from under you. You want to talk about Chrono Trigger, or am I going to talk about it?
You can talk about it.
All right, since I just played it again, you know.
Yeah.
Chrono Trigger, great story. What do you want, guys? It's about time travel, and it's done so magically. All the little bows get tied up in this game. This game was back in 96? 95. So, you know, we're talking 21 years old this game is. And you can go back right now, today, and play this game, get sucked in, and have a great time.
I don't know if you, and we may end up having to link this, but I actually saw some of the stuff that got censored in the original Chrono Trigger.
Oh.
They had, obviously, you know, back in the 90s, they did a lot of heavy censoring when they translated things from Japanese to the United States and back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
one of the things was all the references to alcohol. That's the kind of obvious form of censorship that's happens a lot.
I do remember some of those, because you go to one place and they talk about I need my soda. Like, how come you're not letting me have any more soda? And you're in a bar.
You're in a bar.
You're in a tavern. I know what you're asking
like
for.
The soup drinking contest that he has in the prehistoric era with Aya.
It's a jugging contest.
It's a drinking contest.
Chugging contest. Oh God.
And but there were more. There were sexual references that were put out of that game too.
Oh, Shala and Janice, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Just a little nasty,
incestuous.
Oh God. Oh God. That goes into so many levels of wrong.
Yes, it does.
Fucking Alphador in the corner, like no.
Because then they bring in Magus in the future, and Magus watches.
Oh God.
Somebody right now is going, well, I'm not playing this game. This #1 RPG of all time.
They had a scene where you meet Ayla. Mm-hmm. You remember the prehistoric lady, and she pushes Chrono up against the wall, and she goes, "Oh, I like Chrono. Chrono's strong." And she goes, "Oh, well, I guess she likes you. Chrono's strong. I want to be strong." Mm-hmm. That's not what she was saying. Nope.
You're fucking
sexy.
She
wanted that dick. She wanted
that Chrono.
She wanted that dick.
And
that's why
it's Chrono cock.
And she goes, man, woman, whoever, if you're strong, I like you. Mm-hmm. That's not what she said. And you can tell, Luca's reaction.
Yeah. Because
she goes,
like,
she goes, that's cool. No, she hits on Luca too. She's like, yeah. She's like, oh yeah. If you're strong, I'll fuck you.
Oh God. What is this, Game of Thrones? Man, woman? Why should I decide? I'll take both.
She's like, I'll take anything.
I'll take what
anything
I
with
want.
a pulse.
Wow. No, I did not know that.
Anything with a pulse.
So moving off from the end. Okay, go ahead.
There was some more.
The hits keep coming, folks.
I'll post the link to this video.
Okay.
But they had the rainbow shell when you get it, and Princess Nadia has to make the decision to, go out and leave the nest, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Well, it's a leave the nest kind of a moment, but they're talking about, and I'm probably butchering this. You'll see it in the video, but she's mentioning, okay, well, birds have to leave the nest, once they get strong. I think you're good enough. Mm-hmm. It's another conversation with Aya. Well, Ayla basically says, well, once you get done drinking, all your breast milk, you're ready to walk on your own and go on, you're at that point. Yeah. And then she makes the point, and they left this line in. Mm-hmm. He's like, you're kind of small, but I think you're getting there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. She made a small tits joke.
Wow.
Yeah,
you can see how they censored that shit right the fuck out of there.
Yes, they did. So it's little things that, you may not have known about this game.
No, I didn't.
We talked about Chrono Trigger a lot in this podcast, but I don't think we've ever talked about that.
I know that Final Fantasy VI had a lot of censorship as well, but I saw that every time I rarely see the dialogue that got censored. I usually see the pictures, like the sprites that got, instead of bikinis, they have like a full dress on or whatever. Like there's an Esper, and she's a summon basically, and she has like a bikini, so to speak. Uh-huh. But then in our version, she has like almost a full
dress or something. Yeah. You'll see stuff like that, but the references. Yeah. The reference, when it's the dialogue where you see that most heavy censorship.
It's only America that cares about that shit. Everybody else is like, yeah, we know y'all know. You're adults.
Video games are for kids.
Right. Chrono Trigger, how can I sell this story to you without spoiling it?
Well,
starts off with you, a little kid. You wake up and your mom's like, hey man, get up, son. It's time to go to the fair. And you're like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna go to the fair. You can go to the fair and you can play some games and have fun in this 16-bit fair. And they're like, hey, come check out this teleportation thing. This so-and-so scientist is going to show this thing off. They're like, hey, we need a volunteer. And your character's like, hey, I'll do it. And you get in and he pushes the button. You go from one place.
Man, you just played this game. How can you not know it was What's her name? Meryl. That jumped in the teleporter.
I'm getting there. First, it's Chrono.
Is it?
Yeah, Chrono does it first. Chrono
Wow.
gets teleported, actually. And then Marl's, is it Marl? I never remember.
Meryl is the one that,
The princess.
is the first
She's
one.
like,
Princess
hey, I wanna
Nadia.
Yeah, Princess Nadia. She's like, hey, I want to try it. And they're like, sure, go ahead. And she gets in there and he presses the button and something starts to react. You don't know what.
Mm-hmm.
But something starts to react and acts all funny and sparks fly everywhere and electricity happens and a fucking teleportation thing opens up. She gets sucked in and she gets vanished away. And everybody's like, show's over. Oh shit. And they're like, what are we going to do? We got to go find that girl. They don't know it's the princess yet. They're like, we got to go find her. And your character, Chrono, steps up and is like, he don't say anything, but they're like, oh, you're gonna go? Cool. Well, we'll open this up and, you can go save him. And that's how the game starts.
Yep.
You are sent back in time to go rescue this pretty girl. You find out who the pretty girl is. You find out who the
And I figured this out. Okay, spoilers for the quest that you're on right then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Chrono Cross could not exist.
Thank God.
I will tell you why. Because in that first quest, what happened? Describe the sequence of events.
Alright, you arrive
Spoilers for the first quest in Chrono Trigger.
Okay, you arrive back in 600 AD.
Yes.
You're in that little grassy area. You fight the little roly-polies and the little imps or whatever.
Yep.
You leave, and if you, aside from exploring the town, you can go into the forest, which leads into the castle.
Yes.
And then you talk to the king, and he's like, hey, the queen's back there, or whatever. Or no, the queen's missing. I think the queen was supposed to be kidnapped at this point. Or was it?
Nope. The queen just got rescued.
The queen had just got rescued. Oh. But when you go and check the queen, it's not the queen. It's actually
Princess Nadia, who looks exactly like the queen. Then what happens?
She gets like, oh shit, I'm feeling funny. Ah! And she gets...
Her grandmother didn't get rescued.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the linear fucking timeline, she disappears. There is no, oh, we fucked up time. No, it just fucking fixes itself back to the future style.
I think we need to have a talk with our friend and get the timeline, get time travel.
No, Chrono Cross does not make sense now.
So
there's no way that shit, they didn't go and make 20,000 different fucking universes. The universe corrects itself on the fly right that second. She disappears right in front of you because her grandmother dies in that fucking cathedral because she was never rescued because they found her. Paradox.
I just want to remind you that this is technically 13. This is episode 13. This is technically 15 episodes that you've talked about Chrono Cross.
That's fucking right, and I'm not going to stop.
The more that you talk about it, the more you keep it in the limelight.
That's
Remember
right.
that.
I'm going to keep it angry. I'm going to keep people. I've got to spread the word that this game is bullshit and doesn't deserve to exist.
You're gonna have the 5 naysayers that go, yeah, man, that was bullshit. You got the 10 that go, man, I grew up with it. You got the 40 that go, they're gonna fold their arms and go, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna go play this game and see if it's as bad as he says it is. And they're gonna go, you know what? It wasn't that bad of a game. You're just fucking crazy.
Fuck you.
Which means you made it more popular.
God damn it. Can't win.
Back, I guess, well, you're already in spoilers for Chrono Trigger. The basic point is you have to go through different eras in time in Chrono Trigger, and you're chasing down a magician. You're trying to help a frog.
You get fucking just lost in time you're trying to find your way home.
Yep,
all kinds of weird things.
You find a fucking robot, you fix and repair, he becomes a pal, you find out his history, you find as opposed to Suikoden, that has 108 characters, that not all 108 truly get fleshed out. The 6-7 characters in Chrono Trigger, they get fleshed out. And they get fleshed out twice over. They all, with the exception of Chrono, well, you're playing through Chrono's story, so of course his story's fleshed out. But everybody gets a main quest story, and then you have a follow-up quest as like a side quest. You can learn even more about them. You can correct wrongs. You can learn history. You can, all kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It is time travel and an RPG told beautifully. Very well done. So that's 2 storylines right off the bat that just so good. So good. Take the wheel, sir.
Okay. Well, as far as games that I would consider to be sick nasty storyline wise, let's see if we can divert from our usual suspects.
Let's get out of our wheelhouse.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh,
Every time I
God.
say wheelhouse, somebody has to take
Every
a
time you say wheelhouse, a bird dies.
Oh, whoa.
A bird dies.
Why you want? We do not condone.
And it dies. Poof. Just an explosion of feathers.
I was gonna say every time we say wheelhouse. This is like 4 times now that we say wheelhouse. There's 5. Somebody has to take a drink. This is very bad for the people that are driving, though. Please don't drink and drive. We do not condone that in any way, shape, or form.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
Die. Wait. Yes.
Wait. Yes to the wait or wait. Yeah.
I've done fucking defibrillated
Yeah, we don't
your brain.
condone drinking and driving, period. Get out of our wheelhouse.
Except for while you're listening to our podcast.
Get out of my wheelhouse of RPGs and think of a good story.
This person's dead. Oh, man.
Oh, please say the Metal Gear Solid storyline.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, no. We're gonna back off that for just a second.
We're gonna back off of that completely.
We're gonna take that. We're gonna file it.
We're
over
gonna
here.
put a hand up to Metal Gear Rex, and we're gonna go shoo, and Rex is gonna turn around. He's gonna stomp off.
That was pretty cool at the end of Metal Gear 4 where they fought the Rex and you had the Rex fight the Ray.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say that as loopy as his fucking storylines were.
It was so fucking fun to play
He
him.
did know how to have points where you go, oh shit, like, okay, you may not like Raiden, I get it, and you will probably never play Rising Revengeance for whatever reason, but you gotta admit when Raiden showed up in Metal Gear Solid 4 and was a complete fucking badass, it went over the top, but you were like, I remember you're that bitch from Metal Gear Solid 2, and he takes off the cloak and you're like, you're a robot? And he's like, watch me. And he fucking waylays everything. You're like, wow.
You still got that girlfriend? That ultra clingy girlfriend?
That was a total fucking rube. That was just there to fuck your life over.
Yeah,
and you stuck with her and had
It's
kids
like,
anday.
What the fuck?
And somebody out there right now is pushing his glasses on his husband.
Well, actually,
that's his sister that he fucked. And I don't know what's
that was Otacon.
Stop!
That was
she was a little girl. Stop!
That was Otacon. And she was not a little girl. You had to like swim her around.
Stop!
She was on your back.
Stop!
You carried her
It
through
was
the
only
entire.
implied that they had a thing. It didn't say that he fucked
Was it
her.
implied?
Well, actually,
It was more than implied.
There was a comm call made where he actually said, "I fucked my little sister."
Oh God. Oh God.
Anyway,
Fucking Kojima. Why?
Focus.
Kojima. Why?
Favorite game stories or storylines,
Oh no.
not RPGs for a second. Anyway.
Let's get off the RPGs and let's go with Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Okay.
Simplistic as it gets.
Are you being serious right now?
I'm being dead serious.
Here's the thing.
Here's
Stop
the thing.
pulling stuff out of the rear.
No.
This is one of your favorite storylines.
This is one of my favorite things from a game
I am
that
not
is a
taking you
storyline.
seriously.
It is serious. Wow. Why wouldn't you don't think Punch Out has a good story?
You can summarize that Doom has a larger storyline than Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Doom has no storyline in the game.
Bullshit.
In the game, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
It's got a wall of text at the beginning and a wall of text at the end.
Yeah, exactly, which tells a story. Mike
Bleh.
Tyson's story. What? Little Mac comes up in the boxing world, fights his way up the ladder, beats Mike Tyson. The end. As compared to Final Fantasy VI story. You know what? This is your turn. Go ahead and take Mike
I'm
Tyson.
just throwing this out there.
Go ahead and take as one of your favorite game stories or storylines that you want to flesh out and sell to people. Go ahead.
Wow. What a dick. I like this game. I like this game's story because as you go through, you're looking at it and the actual plot of the game is always told in between the rounds.
Mm-hmm.
You have the plots, you have Mac is silent. Mac is a silent protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
Doc is always the one saying, okay, well, you can do this, blah, 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 blah. He's talking Mac up through each one of these fights, and you watch as he goes through the ranks, and he becomes more and more cut as you're going along, and he's fighting more and more people. It's one of the coolest fucking stories out there for when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Most games in that era were just like, okay, well, we'll give you a vague thing in the actual manual. You open up a game manual, you'll get like a page or two of story, and then you go off and do some weird shit during the game.
Mm-hmm.
This one you could tell what the hell was going on from the get-go.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, well, this guy's trying to work his way up the ladder. And you worked your way up the ladder. Be it's a sports game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Sports games are what they are. But it tells a cohesive plot.
Yeah.
It tells a cohesive story of this guy climbing up the ranks, and he becomes like the welterweight champion, and he becomes the middleweight champion, and finally he becomes the heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
And the entire time, he's the underdog. It doesn't have to be said. It's a beautiful example is every time you have one of these big fights, right before it, you'll have the little cutscene, Mac running behind the bike. Like Doc stole his bike and he's trying to get it back.
I knew it. One of us was going to do it. I'm glad it was you.
Damn. So, you see him like, they're doing like the Rocky training montage. Mm-hmm. And they run, catch by the Statue of Liberty, and he's like, oh yeah, they're ready to fight now. That stuck with me. Mm-hmm. And the reason it stuck with me is because it's as simple as you can get. It's as simple and elegant of a story as you can get.
Mm-hmm.
It shows progression of a character. It shows their struggle and their arc with minimal effort.
Mm-hmm.
If you fired up a football game from the same era, you get none of this.
Yeah.
You get no connection to the players on the field.
Pick your teams and play the game.
You felt a connection to Little Mac.
Oh yeah.
So you can make fun of the concept of Punch-Out being a great story, but you will feel the character connection there. Yeah. You will feel that. Is he saving the fucking world? No. He's fighting for money.
Yeah.
And
I'll make that argument too. You don't have to have, we just talked about this earlier. You don't have to have world ending or universe ending stakes that it can be simple.
Sometimes you can tell a small premise and have it be a huge deal because these are the day-to-day struggles of people. It's just a person trying to clear out a bad building. Mm-hmm. It can be a good story, or a guy trying to work his way up. There's been a lot of movies, Rocky style movies where, some guy's like trying to achieve his dream of becoming the world's greatest fucking loogie hawker or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
And it's just a story of one man trying to work his way up. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the way this came off, but very simply.
Yeah.
When I think of what is the minimum you can do to sell a character, that's what I think of. It is one of the defining, when I look back and say, okay, well, if I was going to design a game and I wanted to make a character, but I didn't want to have a whole lot of writing, that's what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
All the writing takes place in between the rounds, and they're doing nothing but talking about the fight.
Yeah.
They're like, Mac, you can do this.
Mm-hmm.
He's encouraging, the words that are used encourage Mac, so you can tell, okay, he's kind of nervous about this. Yeah, he's nervous about fighting this dude because this dude is obviously a shit ton bigger than him.
Yeah.
And you can tell the other guy's talking shit like, oh, you're a little dude, I'm gonna whoop your ass. You get the sense, okay, he's up against a huge odds and he keeps overcoming them.
Mm-hmm.
That's his baseline, baby basic, but eloquently done as you can get.
Yeah, good point. Sephiroth did nothing wrong.
That's right. King Hippo did nothing wrong.
On the vein of Doom, I'll take the next one.
Take Doom.
I think Doom 6 2016 had a very good story.
Oh God.
Now, and I like...
Oh, God.
You will see and hear this harped on a lot. If you ever play the game, you'll understand it. Here's the old, like, 95 Doom story.
Okay.
We go to the moon. We fuck around on the moon. We try to harvest shit. We look for stuff. We find these artifacts. We use the artifacts. We open up a portal to hell. Hell is loose. We send one fucking Marine up to the moon. Marine kicks fucking ass, saves the day, comes back home. Doom 2016 takes that same idea, but it just fleshes out a little more, but only a little more. The world has evolved around him. There are people and machines, like technology has advanced far beyond. He's just a fucking Marine.
Mm-hmm.
So we as humanity, and for all the well-actuallys that are getting their fucking typewriters ready, I've only played through the game one time, and I was too busy shooting shit and fucking having a damn good time to really chomp on the story of it. But I got what the story was.
Mm-hmm.
We've advanced. We've actually found what we thought were alien ruins or whatever, and we've used their technology to advance ourselves as a civilization. Well, come to find out, it wasn't fucking technology from aliens, it was fucking demonic shit that we were using. Doom guy wakes the fuck up, sees this shit, and is like, oh, hell no. And the whole time he's got people, usually one person in his ear, saying, well, just calm down now. This is advanced technology. It's helped humanity. It's for the good. And Doom guy says, and just punches shit to death. I ain't got time for that shit. I don't want to hear that shit. There's demons on the loose, and you're doing bad shit, and I'm going to stop you. The fucking end.
Yeah.
Very simplistic and very good. There's actually a point, and I know I'm going to misquote this, but there's a point where he walks up to this thing. It's like a power cell or reactor or something. And the guy's in his ear. He's like, that right there, that power is probably about, 3 city blocks or 3 cities. If it's good that we have this. Doom guy just destroys it. And he's like, well, that was a minor setback. Thanks for that, Like, he keeps having people push on him like, we're doing good. And he's like, no, I'm getting a gun and I'm shooting shit to death. So, very simplistic story, and the game around it pushes that. You get all these little subtle things in the game that go, Doom guy does not fuck around. Doom guy ain't got time for your shit. Doom guy knows what's going on, and he has our best interest in mind.
He's not playing.
Yeah. Another good simple story that I can think of. I think I was looking at it on my wall, actually. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Not simplistic story. It's not on my wall. I can hear the pitchforks now, especially from the Battlefield guys that are like, you motherfucker, you went to the light side. Shut up. I loved the story in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I loved it.
Oh, man, I completely disagree.
I loved the story, and I loved the way it was told.
Oh, man.
It was told in a very generic way. I get that. It's very fucking sit-down, popcorn face way. And I'm sure that everybody saw every twist in it every way. And I'm sure that people don't like it because of the controversial scene where they shoot the airport up. I know the reasons why people don't like it.
Not me.
I'm simplistic. I liked it. I enjoyed the story all the way through. All the points that were supposed to be gripped me. All the points that were supposed to shocked me. All the points that were supposed to be sad were sad. And all the hoo-ah moments, I hoo-ah'd with them. So, I can go back today and go play the story of Modern Warfare 2.
Counter argument.
It's not always an argument.
It's always an argument.
I'm talking about my favorite.
It's always an argument.
Come on, man. When you fucking had the mission, spoilers for Modern Warfare 2. When you had that mission where you were supposed to fucking defend that house, and your whole fucking team was there, and the general was like, I've got you. I'm bringing the fucking rescue plane in. Just hold the bitches off, and I will get there. Clear path. And the helicopter's coming. And the helicopter gets there, and your buddies are wounded, and you're dragging each other, and the general shows up. I told you I came and got you, buddies. And you're like, that's a leader who helps me out. Hell yeah. And he's like, did you get that data pad? And you're like, yeah, I got you. This guy's wounded. And he's like, come on, give me that pad. Get in the helicopter. We're going to freedom. And you give him, he goes, thanks. Bam. And shoots Ghost. and bam, shoots you. I was like, oh, fuck no. Oh, hell no. Hell, that was moving. That gripped me. I'm sure there are people out there going, oh, come on, man. You didn't see the general was a bad guy. No, I didn't. Sorry. I'm fucking naive and stupid. I'm the perfect audience.
I'm gonna take this in a direction.
Wow.
I'm gonna take this in a direction you may not have seen. I think we've talked about it before, but I'm not certain. When I played the first Modern Warfare, okay, when I played the first Modern Warfare, I got all those feelings.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm gonna pause. Keep going.
Okay. I would put the first.
I played Modern Warfare 2 before I played Modern Warfare 1.
Okay.
So there's our perspective.
Okay. So coming at it from the first Modern Warfare and looking at exactly how that went down, and you know, you get all those gut punches and all that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to deny that the set pieces were good in Modern Warfare 2. My objection to that story, however, is that in the first game, you were not a fucking action hero.
Yeah.
This is the moment when Call of Duty became COD.
Yeah. I can see that.
Okay. This is when fucking it became a bro game and you started putting fucking, you know, tiger fucking emblems on the side of your fucking gun that was, you know, weird fucking camouflaged out.
I'm only talking about the single player.
I'm not talking about the multiplayer either. I'm saying this is the moment where the game started being very dumb. It decided that it was going to leave the scope of reality. In the first game, you play through your first little scene is as a leader, and you get thrown in the back of a car and, you know, put up, tied to a stake and shot.
Yep.
And you're like, whoa, what did I just witness? What did I just experience? And then you play through the game as, Soap, and you're like, okay, that's cool. And you go through as Sergeant Jackson. And you're like, all right, I'm kicking some more ass. And you're going back and forth between Soap and Sergeant Jackson. And they're both just devastating things.
Uh-huh.
You know? And Sergeant Jackson goes through this massive part where he you know, they're trying to extract, and he discovers that, you know, a pilot got downed, and they all get out, and just in the middle of a firefight, they go and just completely fucking save the shit out of this pilot, and you're fucking warring it back to the helicopter, and you get in the helicopter, and you fly off, and you're looking back at the city, and you're shooting at people who are trying to shoot the helicopter down as you're flying back through.
Uh-huh.
And then a nuke goes off, and you see all the other helicopters around you. Goes, boom, boom. And then your helicopter goes, and you grab on, and you're holding on. And then you wake up in the wreckage of the helicopter.
Yep.
You stand up and wobble out into the mushroom cloud, looking around at this destroyed city around you.
Yep.
And you fall over, and then your name comes up on the list of fucking hundreds of thousands of KIA.
Mm-hmm.
That's moving.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Call of Duty had that wrong. Those were extremely good moments. But up until Modern Warfare 2, it had been moving. It had just ratcheted the cinematics up. They had finally mastered their storytelling.
Yeah.
Okay. All the other Call of Duties up until this were about a normal soldier answering the Call of Duty and giving the ultimate sacrifice. Mm-hmm. You know, going out, you were a Russian soldier on the front. You didn't even start with a gun, and you're going around, you know, you're watching your buddies die beside you, and you're trying to fucking make do with what you got. You were just a normal dude. You weren't superhuman. You weren't some fucking action hero. You weren't going to be capable of anything of repeated superhuman feats.
Let me ask you this. Let me just curb stomp your argument straight into the dirt.
Okay. Come on.
I'm talking make you go, I'm sorry I brought this up, Michael.
Uh-oh.
Have you played in Rainbow Six games?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the Rainbow Six team?
Yep.
You know that those are globe-trotting, problem-solving motherfuckers.
Yep.
Nuclear, biological, terrorist, or fucking subsurgents in a building.
Okay.
they pull some shit.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy the stories of Rainbow Six?
Rainbow Six stories are a bit different, and they're told a bit different than Modern Warfare stories.
Did you enjoy the stories of Rainbow Six?
Did I enjoy? I enjoyed some of them.
Did you enjoy? Do you have a problem with the idea of an elite group of people kicking ass, getting shit done, saving the world?
No.
Well, then that's what Modern Warfare.
Well, here's the problem: is you go from Saving Private Ryan to Saving Private Ryan 2. Fuck the Germans, and they come in there riding on top of a fucking P-51, surfing it, and they fucking ride it straight down. It crashes. The guy jumps down on the ground, does a barrel roll, and then fucking kills 3 dudes with his knife.
I also have problems with snowmobiling down uphill and randomly waving my gun around and popping off headshots.
The change in tone is the issue.
I get that they easy moded the set pieces. I get that for cinematic effect, but from the story perspective, from the cinematic story perspective, I was like, yeah, cool, like it, had fun with it.
And I will always make this comparison. You take a Bethesda game, their story is 400 miles deep. Mm-hmm. Their storytelling is like a baby with a book, with a novel. Yeah. It can't fucking read it. It can just piss on the pages. Mm-hmm. Okay. It puts them in its mouth. It chews them. It takes a piss on them. It falls asleep and drools all over. Here you go, little
Michael. Write me a novel. He's pissing on the notebook.
Yep.
Great. You're starting. You gotta start somewhere,
Bethesda is a terrible wooden actor. They do not know how to do cinematics. Mm-hmm. They don't know how to tell their story. They have the great stories. Mm-hmm. They're not really that good at telling them, and they've got weird glitches.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare is the inverse. Mm-hmm. Modern Warfare went from being poignant stories about single people and them overcoming realistically insurmountable odds. You know, it'd be like,
shaking my head at you right now.
Why are you shaking your head?
Terrorism is a real thing.
Okay.
Terrorism to the point of nuclear threat is and could be a real thing. They're not calling in aliens and we're maybe in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare there is. I don't know.
You break into a Russian prison to get fucking Captain Price.
Yes.
Singularly out. And then he breaks onto a submarine and fucking launches nukes by himself because he's got the nuclear codes. Yeah, no, fuck you.
He has
fuck
intel.
You, that makes no goddamn sense.
He has intel in his ear. Come on.
He does. Yeah, that's it.
You really want to start picking apart game story? You want to CinemaSins video game stories?
I'm picking apart the change and how it threw me off.
You're telling me Faye
I'm telling you why I was
not a bad guy.
I'm telling you why I would take because he was. But
that was good. You just like swing. You just deflected that off. Very good.
So you take the first game where it was a story about a guy that was just doing the best he could and barely getting it done or not getting it done in a lot of cases. And then you take a story and it's the difference between Saving Private Ryan and The Expendables.
You're making the Die Hard argument.
I am.
Die Hard 1 was
him
fighting terrorists in a building. 2,
yep.
I'm now flipping helicopters and globetrotting. I get it. I don't equate these two.
Well, that's because you played them in opposite order.
And you have military people that focused on the average Joes, and that's very good. Then you had them focus on a specific team, an elite team that had connections and could get shit done. And
that decided to fight against the government. Yeah.
The government that fucked them.
The government that
your supervisor,
the government
your shop supervisor pulls a gun on you, you're not going to turn traitor on him?
I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you that when that kind of stuff is portrayed, for one, what stupid motherfucker would do that himself? He went into a war zone, pulled out his revolver that he somehow has, being in the army, Okay, he has a fucking obviously non-issued revolver that he has. It's gigantic and way. This thing's got like a fucking 8-inch barrel on it. Okay,
Barry Burton's like, even I wouldn't use that.
And he's that's like, Jesus Christ, Jill. So he looks. Yeah, the story began to not. The suspension of disbelief immediately shattered in that game. Okay, I'm not saying that it wasn't done well. Because, yeah, it's engaging. Because it's told really well. Okay, it's just like, if you have a person with a lot of charisma tell you fucking a really shitty story, they can make you feel like, okay, well, I'm kind of interested in this.
Well, if we're talking about favorite or memorable or most memorable whatever stories, it doesn't have to be just that it's a good story. It could be that it was a good story. That was a story told well.
I'm just telling you why I would have flopped the two around.
Okay.
I'm telling you that in that one's place, I would stick Modern Warfare 1.
Gotcha. Okay.
To me.
Do you at least admit that the Modern Warfare 2 story was good?
No.
Well, then I say no.
The storytelling was good. The story itself was bad.
Then
That's my argument.
Yeah.
My argument is the story was terrible. The storytelling was great.
Next game's on you, sir.
Xenogears.
Go ahead.
Xenogears.
Oh, and for insider reference, for behind the curtains, last episode between on one of our breaks, we actually sat outside for probably a good hour and 15, way longer than what our breaks usually are, and Adam proceeded to go through every character and give me their story, and I actually understood the story a little better when he did it that way. We're not going to be doing that today.
No, we don't have enough time, and I don't have enough patience.
Yeah, but go ahead, sir. Why is Xenogears such a good story? What can you tell us about it, etc.?
Xenogears is the epitome of a deep story.
Oh,
it is metaphorical.
The epitome.
It has things that you are going to straightforward understand. It has things that are going to take you some time. It has layers and depth. You can't understand it until you've experienced it, and you won't fully understand it until you've experienced it several times and you're able to piece things together.
Right.
The overall plot is unique. You won't find another plot out there that's similar. And it's got giant fucking robots, dude.
Yeah.
How about, what more do you need? It's an RPG that has giant fighting robots.
Yep.
So, wow. How many of those do you get? I think Front Mission is the only other one. So,
there's not really time travel involved in this, but there is a story that spans a long time. Long time.
You get little flashback sequences every now and then, but there's no time travel involved. There are timeless characters. There are characters that exist for eons, or millennia rather.
Yeah.
But oh man, it's so good, and it starts off so small, and it becomes such a big thing, and you get to see just how people's perspectives color their entire world.
Yep.
You go and you talk to the people in this little woodland village, and they're just concerned about the day-to-day goings on of, the other local villagers. They're talking about each other and like, oh, did you see what's his name? You might want to get a handle on that kid before he does something stupid. And then you move into the bigger cities and they're worried about, oh, well, we got war with this people and I'm just not sure. You know what? Fuck those guys. They killed my brother. Yep. Blah, 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 blah. And you move up a little bit more and you get, well, I'm not concerned with what the hell they're doing. I'm worried about buying this new thing that's on TV, and I'm not concerned. I just want to get the new toy. I want to go out and spend my money, and I got to go to work, and I got to do all, I'm concerned with my research. You see the different ways these civilizations are put together and the different little things they worry about over time, and then you get to see how those illusions are shattered when reality comes to light. And you're like, wow, how the hell did all this make sense? But it did.
It did.
It did if you were paying attention, if you caught it all. If you want a thinking RPG, that's the one you go for.
Oh yeah.
Is it by and large, the storytelling is 9 and fucking 5. Okay, so the first disc is a 9. It's gonna fucking give you the story exactly as it was intended. Mm-hmm. The second disc, they rushed it. You're gonna get a couple of walls of text. Mm-hmm. It's gonna happen. They're gonna sit you down and say, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, we're sorry. Yeah. And, you know, I would have loved, Xenogears would probably would have been like a 3 or 4 disc game, had they actually been able to flesh out that second disc. I hope one day they do.
Yeah.
If Square's gonna remake Final Fantasy VII, they should fucking remake Xenogears.
I agree. And I think if they, I know nothing about the other Xeno games. I think there's like 4.
They are not directly connected.
Okay, if they did not Chrono Cross it, or if they did not do what was that Chrono Trigger DS game that they remade Chrono Trigger to tie it to Chrono Cross?
That's a retcon.
Or the retcon, whatever.
Yeah.
As long as
it was called Chrono Trigger for the DS, but it was retcon version.
As long as they don't retcon Xenogears, if they just leave it like it is, but maybe go in and kind of engineer the storytelling a little better, maybe fold the story in on itself a little better, easier to understand, great. I'll take it, because it needs it.
The problem is that it's such a big story. It's so finely layered. I don't think they could have told the story better.
Well, you said yourself, if you want the second disc, they throw a lot of exposition.
The second disc could be redone completely.
Yes, that's what I mean.
If they could redo the second disc, the first disc is perfect because it leaves you completely in the dark until all the lights come on in front of, to the sides of, and behind you, and you're looking forward to the side and back, and like, what was that? Where was I? When I was doing this, I was actually doing, you go through one area where you find the mutated humans, and they're all falling down on the conveyor belts and being cut up.
Oh, man.
And fed to the population.
I forgot all about that one.
Yeah. And,
I remember
the scene right before that, your character made a decision to eat. He's like, oh, there's cans of food here. And, one of your characters is like, I probably wouldn't want to eat that. And they're like, yeah, I guess we can. I'm really hungry. I haven't eaten in forever. I just need to get some food in me.
Did he say it was good?
Yeah,
or something like that.
He was
yum.
I hit the spot. And then they walk through there and see what's happening, and they're like, oh no.
Did he make himself throw up, or did he
just? And you could hear like the stomach sound, like the. It's like, oh. The game was so masterfully told. It's just one of those things you go back and you catch. Once you know what the end is, you go back and you catch little things.
Yeah.
Here and there. Like, okay, alright, I'm kinda seeing how this is tying in, and I'm seeing how this is going. Just, if they could redo the second disc, that would be fine with me. That would be all I needed.
I'm gonna throw out 2.
Okay.
First one I'm gonna throw out is a first-person shooter, again, since we're on this track. Titanfall 2. Has a great story. Now, here's why it's great. 90% of the population that played or is playing Titanfall 2 is playing it because you fight fucking robots against robots. Really, you learn that the pilots versus pilots in Titanfall 2.
Fucking robots against regular robots.
Is even better. You get to fight pilots against pilots.
Oh.
The reason why that's important is because you would think in a game that features mechs, you're going to be like, I need to get my power up and go straight to the Titan. Well, you understand really quick, if you're a pilot, you got mad fucking maneuverability. You get more points from killing pilots as opposed to mechs. You're not going to see as many Titans. This is all a multiplayer bullshit I'm throwing at you right now. You're thinking this, and you're seeing gameplay footage and all that, and you're thinking, somebody says, oh yeah, by the way, storyline. And you're like, I don't fucking care. It's a first-person shooter. I'm going to get online and kill my buddies. Then you play the story of Titanfall 2. They got their head out of their ass with this story. It wasn't just a throwaway. It was a damn good solo campaign. It tells a story of a pilot coming up and finding some shit going down and pretty much trying to save the world, so to speak. But it's very, very contained.
Mm-hmm.
It's also very well done because there are set pieces and points in this game where you do things and you're like, wow, I can do this as a pilot, fucking crazy. And they're like, yep, now that part's done. Move on to the next story. And you're like, oh. You know what I mean? Like, you find there's a point in the game where you get to do basically teleportation. And you're like, oh shit. And you're thinking, you know, like a standard game, I just upgraded this. And it's like, no. This was segregated to this because you were in this area doing this specific thing. You're out of that now. Keep on with the story. You actually have a Titan that has a personality and has a quirky personality because he's a robot. And it's just like, it's like any typical AI that's trying to be human, just doesn't quite
make it.
But he does his best. It's like, was that humor? Yes, it was. I'm human. I don't understand humor, but here's my humor. And you're like, God, that was fucking funny as hell. Shit like that, you know?
Yeah.
Spoilers for Titanfall 2 has a great fucking close to the end game sequence where, your Titan basically gets destroyed. In front of you, you see this happen. Now, you and me are like, that's a fucking robot. What do you care? But you understand the story builds this to where you care about that robot. You care about him because he cares about you. I am tied to my pilot. I will die to save my pilot's life if I have to. And it comes to a point where that basically happens. And at the very end, you always see on the front of the Titan, there's like a bulb. There's like his eye, so to speak. Mm-hmm. It's not something you pay attention to, but it's how it looks around. Well, at the end, when it's about to, you know, die, about to do its last whatever, it pops this off and gives it to you. And it's like, now go finish the mission. In that little thing, you pop that eye part out. That eye part is him. It's basically his CPU. So his memory, his data, all of what makes that robot him is in that. But it's also a safety measure because the box pops open and there's a fucking pistol inside that has smart bullets. Those bullets are one shot, one kill, heat-seeking bullets. He's like, get the fuck out of here. So you went from, oh shit, I'm tied up in shackles, the bad guy's gonna win, to where he says, here's my conscience and all the data that you need to finish the mission. Now here's your fucking fuck everybody gun, get out of Dodge. So you're like, oh yeah, you're running through the level just shooting people and flying through. It's like God mode in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Them bullets have to be like $1 million a piece, man. That's fucking crazy. But it's an
and they just put them in these things so they get blown up and never used.
Yeah, they're like a last ditch effort for a pilot. If you're in a last ditch situation where your Titan is done for, you need to get the fuck out of Dodge. You got a gun with like 50 bullets where you can, you know, shoot people and defend yourself. So but you were not told that. You were not giving any hint about that through the game. Nobody was like, oh man, remember that time I was on that planet and my Titan died? I'm glad I pulled the last measure box out. Nobody says that shit. It has a name. I forget the name of it. It uses initialism or something. It tells you, Seer. Oh yeah. But I forget it. Anyways, it's a very empowering moment. I think this story in a whole is probably the campaign's maybe 4 hours long, maybe.
Yeah.
Very short. But from a first-person shooter game's perspective, that's not just let's just run and gun and get to the action, that we want to tell you a very tight story and make it where you're entertained and you're emotionally drawn in and you have all those woohoo moments. It's got them. It's got
that's
all
cool.
of them. The other one, which I don't know, it's sad that I'm not going to be able to talk for 4 hours about this one because I think it is even more, it's way better of a story, but it is also very small. It's small for a reason. Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh God. Here we go.
Spoilers for Shadow of the Colossus. But if you played it, follow along with me because man, you need to have these moments again if you hadn't.
The fucking horse dies.
So this fucking game starts out with this guy riding a horse to a temple. On the back of the horse, he has this fucking girl wrapped up in a cloak or whatever. You don't know it's a girl in a cloak. You just see this guy is riding to a temple with somebody in his arms. Little to no dialogue. Not only is he riding to the temple, but it keeps cutting back because people are falling behind him. You don't know why. He's human. You see they're human. They have masks on. You don't know what they're about, but they're either chasing him or they're following him, and you understand why.
Mm-hmm.
You get to this temple. He throws the body on the little altar, and it's a girl, and it's the deity, whatever. This temple's like, I see you have somebody dead here. You need somebody to raise her back from the dead. I can do that. In this temple are statues. There's 16 of them. They're all tied to Colossus in the world. If you can kill them, I can siphon their energy, and I will use that energy to bring this girl back to life. So now, within the first 5 minutes, you get the story. I'm not saving the princess. I'm killing things to bring her back to life. Cool. Every time now, and that's where the story stops. Now the game picks up where you're just going from point A to point B, point A to point B, point A to point B, just killing Colossus. A little bit of horse riding, a lot of how the fuck do I bring these gigantic beasts down? And if you pay attention, every time that you kill a Colossus, the little shadow things pierce you and whatever, but your cloak starts to darken. If you're not paying attention, you might not miss it. I mean, you may miss it, but if you're paying attention, you will notice. When you get 8, 9 Colossus in, it's blacked all over the place. You beat the last one. You come back, and the guy's like, "Yeah, I got you. I'll raise her back from the dead." But here's the problem, and those people start to show up. It's like, I'm not a god. I'm not the savior here. I'm actually a demon, and the Colossus that you killed had my energies in them. They were basically holding me back. Now I'm back, thanks to you. And my power is here, but I need a vessel. I can't use her because she's dead. I'm going to use you. And he infects you and turns you into a demon, which has to be killed, which gets killed by the people that were following you in the beginning of the game. They were chasing you, basically going, stop. You had heard some legend, some lore that if you go to this temple and bring a dead person there, they can come back to life. But nobody told you the full story. You didn't have you were just like, fuck it, my girlfriend's dying or sick or whatever, I've got to do this. And people behind you that were following you were chasing you down, not to kill you, but to stop you. But now that you've done the bad thing, now you're the demon, now they have to kill you, which they do. So.
Right in front of her.
Yeah, right in front of her. Yeah. So.
And then she has
tragic story. Great story, but again.
And then the horse dies.
But then again, this game is based around when people talk to you about Witcher, they're going to tell you the great gameplay, but they're going to say, man, that story, wow. Remember all these things with the king and then this prince or that guy in that town or this monster. Wow.
Yeah.
When people talk about Colossus, they're going to talk about, man, all you do is just a fucking boss fight. It's just a game full of 16 boss fights. They don't really talk about the story, but that story was good. But it bookends the game. The story of Shadow of the Colossus just bookends.
Start at the front, end at the back.
Yep. Tells it really well. It's a surprise too. It's a you didn't see that coming story. So good one for the ages.
Oh yeah.
You're up to bat, sir.
Oh
Game
no.
that had a favorite / memorable story.
Oh, let's go with Far Cry 3.
Oh, yes.
Far Cry 3 for multiple reasons.
For 2/3 anyway.
Had a very memorable villain.
Oh, God.
Voss was totally fucking awesome. He was probably one of the best villains that has been in a game in recent memory.
Mm-hmm.
He had a lot of personality.
Mm-hmm.
You can see him now. He's on the Breaking Bad sequel, Better Call Saul. He plays one of the main characters, Nacho.
Yep. Whenever you see Nacho.
Yeah, here's an interesting tidbit. They weren't going to put this character in the game.
Oh, yeah?
Until he came in to do the voice acting, and he kind of did. He put his own spin on the character, and they rewrote the character for him.
They were like, "We got our guy."
Yeah, they were like, "Well, there's no way we're not putting this dude in the game."
Yep.
And so he went around just completely. He was prototypical bad guy. He did bad things. He was a malicious person, but the way he reacted, he would kill the main character, or so he thought.
Yeah.
And the main character.
Spoilers for Fallout, Far Cry 3. Sorry.
And then the main character would come back, and he'd be like, "Already, I killed you, and now I'm having to kill you again." Do you know what the definition of insanity is? It's doing the same thing over and over again,
and getting the same result.
And then he kills him again. He comes back again.
He's like,
do you know the definition of insanity?
Yeah.
And he just keeps doing it over and over and over again. It's one of the coolest villains ever. The actual story of the game, man, it was pretty good. It was something you don't see a whole lot. You know, guy goes around, slowly acquires superpowers, helps like a rebel army fight. Eventually, you know, he's working against this evil organization of pirates / you know, just general bad people. He goes around. It was a pretty epic way to show how this person.
Remember that story in that game because of Voss.
Voss was the thing that drove that thing home.
Let me sell this game for y'all. This is the way this game opens. And I'll admit, within the first minute, I was already kind of feeling like, oh, here's a fucking bro game. Because they do that on purpose. They open this game in a very bro way. All right, it's these like 4 or 5, obviously college type kids that are all, let's fucking party and club and let's drink and fucking chug beers and yeah, bro, yeah, let's go fucking skiing, mountain climbing, skydiving. Yeah, we're living the fucking life because our rich parents, bro. Yeah. And then the camera pulls off. And what you were seeing were not these teenage kids or college kids, epic fucking life, bro. It was something on a smartphone or a video. Yeah. And Voss is holding it. He was watching it. And he looks at it. He goes, this is a cool phone.
I like this phone.
I like this phone a lot. I think I'm gonna keep it. And it pans over and these 2 fucking college dudes are fucking gagged and tied up in this cage. And he's like, you guys thought you had the fucking world. You thought you had it all. But down here, this is my island. You're in my fucking territory now. And I know you 2 rich kids are gonna be worth some money, so I'm about to ransom you off. So now, you're on this island that apparently this dude controls. He has his own mercenary army and everything. You know, rebel army and everything. You gotta get the fuck off this island. Yeah. You gotta get away from him.
And over time, your goals just shift.
Yep.
It eventually completely 180s.
Yeah.
Until you're like, okay, well, I believe in this cause. You know? I believe in what they're doing. And it takes some weird turns.
Oh, yeah. Memorable story. Memorable game.
Oh, yeah.
You want to talk about a whirlwind roller coaster game that, even in all its side facets, will leave you going, man, what? Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
3 separate stories in a very Pulp Fiction-y way, told side by side, but all in the same main vein of its own story.
And they all intersect.
They all interact with each other, and they all have their own unique, different outlook on the story. You know, you got the urban gangster, gang member style story. You've got the somewhat, you know, used to be a thief, but has turned sort of straight edge, trying to do good in his life and get his life on track. And you've got the fucking engine of chaos guy that's like, I just want to make money and
watch the world burn.
Yep. Yeah. I'm telling you, the scenes when you like switched over to Trevor had me just like, what the fuck? Like, you would be playing as Mike and doing this thing. You're like, I'm gonna go switch over to the thing with Trevor. And it shows Trevor like at some random house at their poolside in nothing but underwear with a beer bottle in his hand, and then fucking ducks go walking by, and then you're like, how the fuck did you get here? What are you doing? Or another time you'll be playing as somebody else, you switch over to him, and it's immediately in a fucking car chase from cops. And you're like in the driver's seat, getting beat. He's like, come on, you motherfuckers. And you're like, oh, I'm running from the cops. Like right now. It's like, I got bullet holes in my car. This fucker was being shot. What the fuck were you doing, Trevor? A whirlwind of trying to make ends meet, trying to get shit happen, trying to plan bank robberies, fucking being trapped by the FBI and trying to get out of that bullshit.
People coming up, people going down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, oh man, it's an amazing plot.
It is a good
especially
ride.
how everything intersects. Oh man,
such a good ride.
Yes,
very well told. Of course, there are other big mentions, like, I mean, The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
The Witcher, in general, has a wide story. But The Witcher 3, it does it in a very cinematic way. It does it in a very concise way. And on the onset, they give you the big baddie. I mean, Geralt has the big baddie that he's going after. But my God, everything else around and leading up to that is just a whirlwind of wow. Wow. Man.
I mean, there are just so many good games. It's impossible to talk about all of them.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you have the Castlevania storylines.
Mm-hmm.
You have your, the Lunar storylines. And of course, we already mentioned Chrono Trigger. And,
mm-hmm.
You go through every single one of these games would take all day.
Yeah.
All day.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the last one I want to talk about really is Mega Man.
Oh, you're touching my heart.
Yeah. Let me let you, because you probably can tell this better than I can. Let me hear Mega Man's plot line.
Oh, which one? Are we talking Mega Man? We're talking Mega Man X?
Let's hear
Mega
X.
Man Zero?
X seems
Network?
X seems to be the
let me talk about X in general, just the first X, because they all build on this one.
Okay.
But X is done, and I mean if you've never played Mega Man X and somebody threw the controller down in front of you and said play, this game tells its story from the get-go. It gives you an entire intro level that teaches you about your character. It shows you that he has a fucking weapon and he shoots. Pew, pew. He shoots fucking lemons out. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
He shoots things. That's how he gets around. He walks and he shoots and he jumps and he shoots. Shows you that X can climb walls. He has more mobility. He has more ways to get around. The level gets to the end. You fight a bad guy. The bad guy fucking just lays you out. Now you ain't got a chance. There's no way you can beat me. And right when you're about to die, this fucking badass character comes out of nowhere and says, oh, no, that ain't how we do, son, and fucks that bad guy up. Cuts his arm off, fucks him up, bye, peace out, bitch. And he tells you, he's like, hey, you're leading a good fight, you got a good head on your shoulders, but you need to be strong. You need to be way stronger. And it's like, I need to be strong like you, because you're fucking badass. I don't have a sword, I don't have blonde hair, and I can't dash. That's another thing people didn't catch on. When Zero showed up, he dashed into the picture. You can't dash. But when you go in the game, you find the dash ability and then you can dash. This game, it slowly builds you up to be like Zero. You're trying to be more powerful. It's a growth process.
Mm-hmm.
They give you the story of this fucking bad guy that he's turning all these robots. He's got them all on his side. He's apparently turned bad guy. He's turned good guys bad, and he's trying to take over the world. And you fucking stop that and save the day. It's when you go beyond Mega Man X and you play the sequels and the other sequels, you find out that actually the bad guy was a good guy from the get-go. This all ties into our last episode, now that I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
The last episode was our villain episode, wasn't it? Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Sephiroth did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Hashtag Team Sephiroth. Every character has something. Now, I will say that the later X games do kind of get a bit wonky. They start getting very text dumpy-ish. But if you're looking at the story of a good guy just coming up, does a good job. It does it in a way to where the gameplay, not just somebody telling you with text or a movie or whatever, it shows you gameplay. He's growing. He's trying to be better. He's trying to be more powerful. It saves a day.
Building himself up.
Yep. It's a good job. Damn good job. Now, is it fucking Shakespeare in motion? Is it a 10 out of 10 novel? Of course not. It's a fucking jump and shoot man video game.
Yep.
Still has a good story. The more that you look into the stories of Mega Man, what you see is people going, okay, some people do want a story from this, and we're going to give you a good story. And they do a very, very serviceable job. Very good job. What else can you ask for it? If you don't like the story, fuck you. Just play the game. It's still fun.
Yeah, just go die somewhere.
Whoa.
Wait, what?
If you don't like Mega Man,
just die.
You're just fucking wrong.
Just die.
Well, I think that's gonna do it for us, man. How you gonna cap it with Mega Man? You just trying to tug at my heart, man.
Just grab a little strings.
Trying to give me a little pat on my head. As always, folks, you can find us on Facebook. You can send us some messages there. You can leave a comment. Adam said he was going to leave a link to that was it a Chrono Trigger?
Yeah, I'm going to link.
Oh, the censoring.
Some of the censored things.
I realize
it's pretty interesting.
I realize in my past that I always say we're probably going to link something and we never ever do. I
will try to get that done for us.
Yeah, the anti-narcissist in me, I never listen to my own podcasts. I'm the one that edits these podcasts, but I listen to them where I need to, and then I move on. I don't know if it's weird that I just don't want to listen to my own podcasts, but
it is weird.
I should go back and be like, oh,
you should just want to listen to me.
I did. I was right here next to you.
You want to listen to me more. So that when I'm not there, you can still hear me. You should have them on loop.
You can find us on the Facebook page and a time cache. You can look for us there. It's probably where you found us.
We probably got over 24 hours of content now. Now you can hear my voice all the time. Now you can hear my voice all day long.
Math time. We have 13 episodes, 14 if you count the bonus. Each average about 3 hours. You got 15, 30, 45. Well, we have over 400 something hours of.
Yeah, and at least half of that is me, so.
Or 40 something hours, sorry. We're 400. Good God.
Yeah.
One day we will.
Oh God.
Make you feel. One day we're going to be like, man, we have like 400 hours of audio content.
I wonder what I said.
I wonder what the fuck, what were we doing?
What are we doing with our lives?
What were we talking about?
I wonder how many times we've said Chrono Cross sucks.
Oh God. The Chrono Cross Wheelhouse Podcast. That's our new. That's right. We're rebranded as of tonight. Yeah, you can find us on the Facebook page. It's probably where you came to find this episode anyway. Please, please, please send us a message. Leave us a comment on the page. Give us a like if you want to. I don't know. I really care about the feedback more than I do about you going, hey guys, good job. What I really need is people to share. If you know anybody that's interested in video games or podcasts or both, send them our way. See what they think. We typically get positive responses. Not touting our hats, not putting a feather in our cap. Just saying that some people do like us. So
yeah,
hopefully, if you got friends that are into this, they might listen to it. Still got a Twitter page, and a Timecast is on Twitter. You can
Twitter page is over there collecting dust.
Yep. We might bail on that one because we don't really do much.
Meh.
We get retweeted every great now and again, but nobody
nobody loves us.
Nobody twits directly at us, so I don't know. I haven't seen that as an engine of anything just yet. We also have the email. We're going to leave that one up forever as the empty box. At the end of timecast@gmail.com. That's endoftimecast@gmail.com. Send us an email if you don't feel like sending us one on Facebook. Usually, these days, everybody texts or messages or something. Really, I don't get too many emails.
No.
But other podcasts do, so we'll just
keep that up there just in case.
Keep it up there just in case. Send us your thoughts on storylines. So what games had great, memorable storylines to you? What ones stuck out to you? Ones that when you think about them, even to this day, you go, man, let me tell you, this game right here, great story. We love to hear your feedback. Any comments on the stories we talked about? If you want to tell Adam that it's completely wrong in his Modern Warfare 2 bashing, please let him know.
Oh no.
That's going to do it for tonight, folks. Thanks for listening. Tune in to the next episode coming in a week or so. We appreciate it. Till then, I'm Michael.
And I'm Adam.
Good night, everybody.
Bitches.